My name is.
When we think of the integrity and legitimacy of the democratic processes, election as the cornerstone of what differentiates all other political systems from democracy, then merits the kind of attention that we're giving to it as citizens. Now, usually, when you think in terms of elections, you think of what happens pre, that is, the lead to the election, during the election, and after the election. And sadly, for our country, all stages, all phases have been bedeviled by all kinds of political shenanigans. These shenanigans don't come from just the citizens. It's the fact that the political class of our country has decided that our political system and our democracy will not mature. And that's why it is sad that the opportunity we had to finally get the kind of electoral law that citizens would have absolute confidence in was botched. So what must we do? I think that number one, it is not yet over concerning the real-time electoral transmission of results at the polling unit. The reason that it must not be over for citizens is simple. You know, average voter participation globally is 61%. Average voter participation in Africa is 60.2%. Our average voter participation has so sharply declined from the high that it started on, 1999 and 2000 and, was it 2003? Yes. And today, at least with the last election, average voter participation for us as a country was 26%. You cannot have a democracy where only 26% of the people are voting, and you call it a democracy properly so called. So what it means is that the citizens are disavowing democracy. Now think of 2023 as 2022 as 26%. Do you know what the FCT election recorded? 14.8%. The municipal, which is half of the entire FCT territory, recorded 7.8%. I always say that in God I trust, that every other person must bring data. So, if I have brought this kind of data, and we're still pretending that we are a democracy, that's a pretense. Let's not pretend. What is the reason for this low participation? Well, number one is the fact that citizens don't even trust the electoral umpire. The electoral umpire is in trouble as far as citizens go. And so I can imagine someone who is newly appointed, sort of, I saw your frustration trying to tell us that you're going to do the right thing. But you know what? We don't believe it. The reason, no, don't clap. I didn't come to get any claps. You know, the reason is simple. There has not been any promise made by INEC that is kept. No. The Gen Z generation that decided to register so much, with so much passion in 2023, were so let down, they were bruised out of the electoral process. Then, when the reform started for INEC law, it built up their confidence again. But what happened? Once again, shenanigans. So guess what the percentage, the data of public trust in INEC is by Geopolitics? 68% don't trust INEC. That's a large number. So I want citizens to understand that there's a connection between democracy and governance. It's so connected, the correlation is so strong that those who think that this does not matter are making a big mistake. In this conversation, we're determining what will happen to the generation that's ahead. So one thing that must happen is we do need to stand down on the political class. Nigeria does not belong to the political class. Nigeria belongs to the Nigerian citizens. The Nigerian citizens are saying we want transparency unfettered. And I can speak to this quickly, Shehu, by virtue of what I know about exceptions. When I came back home to do the reform of the public procurement in this country, there were some rules that govern public procurement processes, but it had exceptions. When I did the diagnostics to start the reform, do you know what? Most of the contracts in this country were being procured on the basis of the exceptions. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Like, literally, 90% of Nigeria's contracts were being procured on the basis of exception rules. So the exception has become what? The norm. And when impunity becomes the way of life, there is absolutely no pathway to progress of society. So we should not take the provisos that are added to the electronic transmission of voters as though it is something that just accept it like that, manage it, as Nigerians normally say, no managing. The citizens of this country want transparency, and they must get transparency. That's number one. Number two, Shehu, and I'll give you the mic. Number two is that pre the election for 2027, we already see a sample of what would happen through the FCC election. There was voter suppression. The fact that people were going to 5 polling units looking for their names, that's already an exclusionary thing going on there. In a decade where disruptive technology has given us incredible possibilities, that should not be something we take lying low. So we do need to audit the FCC election and the processes that happened in order to give us insight into what is ahead of us in 2027. And a coattail to that is that pre-2027, here we are with such intimidation of the opposition. Those of us who are citizens, who don't belong to a political party, we see what's going on. And that's enables.
Welcome, Elevator House Gadriel. Welcome. Happy Monday to you as well. Please, guys, can you help me like the show so that people can know that we're live? Please, if you haven't liked, please help me like the show. Thank you.
Wants me to say that if the ruling party continues to intimidate opposition in the way that it is doing, it is simply putting a death knell to democracy. Because democracy does not allow for spaces of participation. And by the way, citizens, the final word, if you think you don't matter, you're making a big mistake. You matter. A party that has found a way to get more than 80% of the states is afraid of transparency in elections. Don't you know what that means? It means that it already called the result for itself. in a transparent election. And therefore is doing everything necessary to stop it. So what we must do is that citizens must gain their agency and collectively work, if not for themselves, for their children and for the children that will come through their children.
Welcome, oh.
So wait, what's the catch?
Now welcome. Greetings to everybody as you come in.
ADC, the party has officially come out to reject INEC timeline. Basically, based on some of these issues that has been raised, what is the position of the ADC?
The ADC's position would be the position of most Nigerians, essentially, because the political party does not exist outside society. Again, Prof is my good friend, very brilliant and nice gentleman. But I want to remind you that one of the so-called direct primaries of 2015 or 2019 election resulted in about 40 million votes for the primary of President Buhari, which was more than actual votes of members. So, so let's not romanticize direct primary. So you have a direct primary where the outcome of the primary itself, the vote is far more, not even the vote of the election is not up to 20% of the primary. So that tells you the quality of that direct primary. And look at the problem here. No doubt about it. You see, the theory around primaries is that you want members of the parties to express their will. Now, if you look at models across the world, delegate elections are not just indirect so-called delegates, are not themselves as we think about them. Because many do caucus, many do primary, many do delegates. But the process is always clear. The rules are clear. So people know how do you emerge as a delegate. So I don't want us to put too much, beauty around direct. That's the first. But the second question is INEC. Again, and that ties back to the issue why people defect it. Some people are in safe seats, what we call safe seats, where they are doing well as governors. They don't seem to have problems, but they defect because they have no confidence in the integrity of the election. I'm sorry to say, nothing the chairman of INEC said this evening inspires confidence in the integrity of the 2027 election. His understanding about what makes a good election are logistical. If you look at, and by the way, if you look at the election dispute, 2023 election, the dispute was never around. Ballot box came by 5 p.m. It didn't come early. Every issue is around the integrity of that vote itself. And so I would want them to speak more around how do we ensure that when people vote, results and votes align, results declared and the result of votes align. He didn't say that. And that ties back to the crisis we have with INEC. Look, yes, it's good to talk about open primaries, direct primaries. But this is a party, you are giving them a period of time to organize, submit electronic register as credible, again, conduct those indirect primaries for all political office elections across the country. So the point is, APC and I was commending him as a former commissioner, maybe he has insider knowledge. APC is headstart, okay? So now you're going to create a crisis for other parties. And that's six, going forward. In 2023 election to the second, INEC did a very terrible thing. I was a regulator for 5 years at least. INEC is first and primarily a regulator, not a transaction agency. You cannot, on the eve of primary, the parties came and said, INEC, extend the time for us. INEC said, no extension. PDP hurried and did a primary convention. On the eve of PDP's convention, INEC gave 1 week.
Hey, Tracy, welcome, sis.
To redesign.
Happy Monday.
Flaw, what Regulation 101, fundamental flaw. You must keep very even balance for everybody. Again, you can't issue election timetable as a final product without giving the parties drafts and say, on record, give us articulation of how you see this proposed calendar. Because ultimately, it's for the benefit of the political. So they give you their input and say, Mr. Chairman, look at you have a problem. I know the law is this that. Please, this time is too short. So you reason with them and provide reason. Now, this is not theoretical. Every work that you do, sir, has to proceed from what you call decision making on record. One, evidence is reason given to them and their feedback in writing. Why is it important? It allows for judicial review effectively. It allows for integrity of process. Again, that constitution of technology. In the last election, that allegation was that Beavers and I
exactly, Tracy.
We don't even have the integrity of the technology. So my question will be this: I say ADC or any other party or any Nigerian civil, you need to. We finished the election with so much allegations, so much issues. National Assembly did not conduct one public hearing. Nobody was put on oath, neither Mahmud nor all the officers, to tell us what happened. That is shambolic. There's nowhere in the world that what comes out of it is credible. So the minimum is 2 days to conclude. First, there should be a bipartisan audit commission of INEX technology. Nobody should place confidence in INEX deployment.
You are right.
Technology.
You are not far from the truth, my sister.
Is professionally tested by sort of engineers, bipartisan, to say, tell us how you procure beavers, show us clearly the security, the guarantee that these beavers are not in people's hands. In a fake election results were printed and used, and I can tell them. So we can't be talking about elections. You see, the problem with Nigeria is that we have no rigor of administration, rigor of process. How, for example, does the chairman of AGC or Labour Party know anything about their guarantee of process? What do you have to guarantee?
You've been in a car accident? Sit down, take a breath, and for the love of your bank account, don't call your insurance yet. Give me 60 seconds.
Do they know? There should be a public certified procedure to say, even if you want to do the primary, look at the considerations of time gap, to fill in the gap, to put logistics, to go across the country. And by the way, last point, if you look at the law says direct or persons. The same law now says if political office holders want to be delegates, how do you become delegates in a direct primary? That means there was a lot of incoherence and lack of clarity about that law. It's about procedure. You see, we should understand that it's not about the outcome, 10 million, 5 million. My concern is that always about INEC, the regulator, that you have to make rules in a manner that gives everybody confidence. But there's no parties to mention about it. They need to factor what's their concern. I mean, at the end of the day, INEC has to decide. Again, just make this quick point. People talk about this electronic transmission overhead. Another issue. Now, the only problem was that the same INEC was the one who went to court to excuse their failure to transmit. INEC argued that their regulation was discretionary. And the court said yes, that's the first problem. Now, the court has made it mandatory. But that proviso that says that the default mode will now be that you could have 30% or 20 non-transmission. And the chairman was right. Nothing about real time here. The question is that after you have finished the work, the paper, the sign,
I'm telling you.
if you don't transmit to the item, clause
Oh my
38
God.
of INEX regulation was very clear. You do 3 modes of transfer. You do 1 to the item, 2 to collection, electronic collection system, 3 manually. So INEC always follow manual. But they look at the
Welcome,
right
Kene.
in clause 48, if how to collect, which supersedes in section 94. So if there's neither electronic nor item, the rule says you have to now use collect from the police officers, DSS, and others. So 232 was good enough law. What failed was that INEC could not explain why there was glitch in the presidency, there was no legislative, which was an error that the nation should have said, explain to us, forget court, explain what happened. It wasn't a deliberate sabotage. That would have helped us. And other people have said, they would go to court and say, oh, it's because the guideline is discretionary. And the court, unwisely, said it's discretionary. How can you guarantee
Kene, you're right.
What you have to do,
Once
sir,
they
is
add
say
God,
you
don't you love?
3 kilometers,
Oh
10
my
kilometers
goodness.
to collect.
I
And
don't want to cry,
I
my
want to know
people, so I
there
have
will
to
be
laugh.
multiple alterations on the hard copy. That's why I say real-time IRF is there for verification. The electronic collection is there for storage in case and judicial evidence. So if we now make this electronic transmissions optional, in fact, by default, it's now optional. My question is that we can still amend this law. By the way, President Tinubu amended national anthem in 1 day. Let there be a consensus to amend this section and put back electronic, allow INEC to provide usually through their regulation. INEC captures the event of failure. Finally, communication is not just electronic. This is a bad law. It could go for anything, including phone communication from headquarters to the police officer. Even if you have internet, the police officer may refuse to transmit on the basis that there was no communication.
All right.
We should amend this law quickly. The result that you take by Evans is actually original. He captures it and puts it there. By the way, God uses the same Evans for accreditation and says any result that is more than the accredited number. It's the same Evans that uploads the accreditation. So the question is not about which is primary and secondary. The question I asked them, what was the mischief that they want to solve? The only mischief is that when we finish voting, somebody used gunshot, ordered the return officers, INEC, the professor, to declare fake results. Is senatorial. The matter came to INEC officials, some of the comments say, well, this has been concluded, has been declared. Some say no. That's why INEC started saying, we want to guarantee the validity of the declared results. So what the INEC does for us, and this is very clear, so we don't mix up. INEC is like, if I finish voting, you declare the result, and I go home, and I say, Party X has scored 4, and I'll reach it to the collection center, it's now 5. How do I know? There's something that was sent at the most opportune time after closure of polling that INEC has in the electronic collection and in the IRF that we can see. So at the collection center, look at it, like he said, look at it and say, this result I'm going to collect, like Senator said, it's not the result that's uploaded when the pool finished and signed by all. Bro, what we really lose is that it's a retrievable digital result that you can need to go.
Who's streaming?
Okay, now.
Managing with Connecting would be a whole lot easier.
Remember vividly that IREF was first tested at the by-election in Nasarawa State. And I remember at the consultative meeting, you defended it, that it was a huge success. And suddenly, you, who spearheaded the revolution, the beavers, on the eve of the election, you were removed, you were transferred. Will you advise INEC that a person in your position that was removed on the eve of the election, that we now will witness a glitch, to be removed this time around?
Yes, you're correct. But I need to also inform you that we started these digital systems at Swabank 2003 when we did OMR4. I was involved. And after that, we ran a lot of programs, a lot of cancellations. I won't say why some of them. But Jega came in, and new ideas came in, and we brought this Macarena. Let me say this, we're Africans. People like to cheat. And if you are doing any design, you do the design based on your environment. So the first thing we needed to do is to register people. That was done. We solved that. We moved to the next stage, which is, why should 500 people come to polling units and you see 5,000 results? So we should make sure at least we record 500, so that even if you want to ring within 500. That was what we used. So I'm being honest, as an engineer, you have to look at reality. So we did that. My car reader was on, but there was a problem with my car reader because he can only take fingerprints. We look at facial recognition. We brought in it. So, my dear brother, yes, we started the beavers and other things at Nasarawa. It did not count all the elections we did from Nasarawa till before 2023 elections, and things were all going well. So, whatever that happened in 2023 election, we all learn it. We have to look at what the issues and then improve on it. For my movement, the commissioner has the right to move me at any time because I'm a civil servant. I'm retired now, so I can move anywhere I want. So quickly.
It seems as if all that is to be said has been said and very eloquently said. And I really want to thank the members of civil society for the work that they do and continue to do. I hear that for those who run long distances, because I often wonder when I see these young people running 20 kilometers and so on, the marathon. But I hear that from the science of it, when you start running, there is what is called, I haven't tried it, but a second wind comes when you start getting tired and you don't stop and you continue. Somehow the system renews itself and you have enough energy to continue. If you want to try the marathon, please try it. Maybe just start with 10 kilometers. I say so because we have said, and the INEC chairman has made the point very well, this whole undulation, we are up, we're down, we're up, we're down. We think we have done what needs to be done, and then every election leaves us in tears. But I want to thank the chairman of IPAC because he was able to say some of the things that we ourselves have forgotten. Namely, we've become such a very cynical society that whatever Nigeria does and does pretty well, we feel that we are reluctant to acknowledge. But there must be, if it is that you are trying to say that, look this way, INEC is trying. To say that INEC is trying means that INEC has paid you money. And yet we cannot progress like this as a country. So I also want to encourage you in INEC to improve on the quality of your engagement. You have perhaps one of the best communicators in this field, Mohammed Aruna, who has become a bureaucrat now, but I'm sure he's been on this field for the last 40 years and so on. I think you really need to sharpen the tools of your engagement and continue to engage Nigerians on some of the things that you're doing, but also have the humility to accept that our grudges and our grievances are not born out of bad belly. They are born out of a genuine concern that these processes must work well. If we follow PDP, we still owe PDP 44 years. Or somebody said they were in power for 16 years. Well, they wanted 60 years, so they've done only 16. We still have 44 years to make them. They are hoped to govern for 60 years. They did only 16. So they still have. But please, these things all these things you see, don't be afraid. Okay, there's no party that cannot be defeated. It's a question of strategy. Those who read the Bible, who are Christians, even if you are not a Christian, you know the story of David and Goliath. People say that David saw Goliath and thought that he was too big for him to miss. So I think it's not the size of the fight, but the size of the man in the fight. So we must know that, one, this is our country, and have the patience that this process, if we continue to improve on it, those coming after us will have a much better country. We admire other countries, but what we forget is the things that they experienced over 100 years ago. Although Nigerians always like to say, are we going to wait for 100 years? No. I think we are making progress in many respects. The very fact that we are...
I beg. I beg. I don't dey feel headache. Let's move forward. So my people, here is a footage of the military. They are slowly taking over your military barracks. Very soon, you are not going to have military personnel from Nigeria. They will all be Fulani. The rate at which they are unaliving your military, your soldiers. I'm telling you, nobody should sign that peace accord. I'm telling you, nobody should sign the peace accord. When they come about and say, oh yeah, let's come and have, everybody should lock up. Nobody is signing. Because since you people say you want to be mad, let's maybe the revolution that everybody has been talking about, that's when it will start. Hopefully. Because this is madness. Look at your military. This is a footage from ISWAP attack against the the Nigerian army in Gaidam, Yobe State. This evening, we're talking 4 hours ago. This evening, it appears the military camp came under assault. Fire is observed in the distance. Make una listen. They are taking out indigenous Nigerians from the military. This is strategic. You can't, there's no, see, you dey hear? Una dey hear? Yeah, they whisper. These are people who live near the barracks in Yobe. I know they hear Hausa. Person where they hear Hausa fear post interpret. Look at. See. Video, this is Omoye. Video shows the vehicle attack near Lawiri. This is in Rivers State. Lawiri as armed bandits strike Odeore, Yagba West local government area of Kogi State with unconfirmed numbers of people kidnapped this evening, March 2nd, 2026. Look at this video again. The same video. ISWAP, this is 12 a.m. Nigerian time. ISWAP are currently in Gaidam, the one I just showed you now. According to some source, they are cleansing your. Shebi they say General Musa, I mean, not be that they call that man. Oh, once he become in, oh, he paid the man saying nothing really. Oh, he had plans to just do everything. We are not seeing anything from General Musa. We are not seeing anything. It's almost like he's a deaf, dumb, and mute person that is there. Is General Musa not seeing what's going on? Does he want to say he does not know? Not be to go do Thanksgiving for church. Show workings. What is General Musa doing? When they retired, is it retired? Yeah, when they retired him, maybe they forced him to leave his job. Hey, oh my God, he had great plans. Oh my, they did not allow him. He was just about to. He now has a full capacity as minister. Nothing. Now they are not saying it's a political position. He can't really do this. People excuse. Oh, you know, Tinubu is possibly trying to make him VP. Hey, we are not all right in that country. We are not all right. Excuse after excuse. This man literally came in as Minister of Defense. He was making mouth. Say me they pray. Welcome, Natu. Welcome. Thank you. Make una see am again. See. Una dey here? This is Gaidam in Yobe. They said, according to some sources, they have burned down Gaidam modern markets. They are just buying your soldiers. Look at it. It's the same video I just showed now. Eh? Yeah. This is neither Iran nor Israel. This is Gaydam town in Yobe. The town is currently under attack by NSA Ribadu's brothers because he said the terrorists are his brothers and sisters. Then this one now said, however, what's popping and all the Delulu, the Arewa influencers are busy with the war in Middle East, which is none of their business. You see the problem when Nigeria, if they finish all the indigenous soldiers, we are effed in that country. That's what it means. Okay, look at this one now. Terror group, another terror group from the one that you people have in Nigeria, Hezbollah. Terror group Hezbollah has activated Nigeria's unit to coordinate with jihadists against US-Israeli and target anti-Iran advocates, counter-terrorism expert Walid Fares alleges. Una see for your northern Muslims, una see as they protest for Iran. Meanwhile, they buy people. Look at it. This is in Lagos. Some Nigerians protested in Maryland, Lagos State, against America and Israel's buying of Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, whatever his name is. See, if na Christians come out like this, carry Israeli flag with everything wey dey happen, what do you think would have happened? Your soldier, your DSS people go full everywhere. Okay. Hey, we dey talk our own now. It be like say na movie. Let me read this short history for you. This is Habibu Yusuf Sodangi. He said Danfodio has no relationship with Islam. He's just a bloody terrorist, spied and dethroned Hausa kings which all of them are Muslims. If he's a Muslim, why attacking Muslims while the Eid prayer is taking place? Why did he destroy Yandoto University built by Hausa kings in Gassau? Hey, meanwhile, Israel don't they look for Asari Doku, but they don't even print in picture put for their this thing. Mona listen to Ramo, he don't respond. Be like say Asari get power when we don't know. Mona listen.
Let them come. Let Trump come with his America and with you people. You all die. He wants to kill the president of Venezuela. He wants to kill the supreme leader of Iran. This sick lunatic. And that's why when they talk about America is a sick country, a country of mad people. Insane people. And that's why they can elect a mad, insane idiot.
Who looks insane?
A lunatic.
Wow.
If you Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense. Many have said it, but it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel.
So, by the way, the Ayatollah had put out what's it called? They are trying to unalive Trump. They tried twice. So the news, what's it called? The news media, short news media clip I saw of Trump. That's where he was saying it. I think I saved it. He had tried. They don't send people to unalive Trump like 2 times or 3 times. They not succeed. They don't really put out. Is it waiting be that thing where they call them for their Muslim something? Say when they don't put money for your head. Say anybody won't buy you. Anyway, let's move forward. There's a lot to cover today. I will do the best I can. If I'm not able to get to it all, please, you know, the information for Nigeria not be here. Okay. This is not Iran. This is Yohana Nuhu. Okay? This is not Iran. This is or the Middle East. This is Digire community of Akaleri local government area of Bauchi on the run for their lives after being sacked by bandits. It is obvious that the government has failed in its responsibility of protecting the lives and properties of Nigerians. Oh yeah, make una watch. See you. Welcome, cheat power. How do you know that, Kene? I know some are not like Trump. I know some are not like her. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, una don see am, right? Okay, this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. Boko Haram terrorists, parallel facts, has unalived over 50 soldiers in Borno. 50 so I tell una say by the time they are done, you people will have no indigenous Nigerian soldiers. It will all be Fulani. They will not be wearing the uniform of the people when they buy, the soldiers when they buy, they wear their uniform. Oh God. Yet, no word of sympathy from Aso Rock. 50 soldiers. You know what 50 soldiers be? Let's continue. Oh. Okay. See Asari. You can listen to her. I see open eye.
We are going to negotiate with America with Omoye. I am telling you, every American that comes here because of oil will die here. Every American that comes here because of the oil of the top people will die here, will not live here. That they want to take the oil of the top people to give to people.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Is this man's lineage is Igbo? This man that is talking, for people who don't know. You see this man? His own lineage is an Igbo man. This man, when they talk so. See, the open eye, they talk. They won't carry the oil from the jaw. How they want to carry oil when they another person land? Can't give on. I know. Anyway, let me just move forward. There's just so much to go through. I don't have time for this. Whatever, wait till they corner. Whatever Asari see, make it take on like that. Because they run in mouth. Make they know where Asari dey. Make they not go meet innocent people. Okay. Those are the 50 Tize Sini Buga. He says those are the 50 Nigerian soldiers massacred by Boko Haram in Borno State yesterday, 1st of March 2026. There's no statement from Tinubu, just silence from the government. APC government is the terrorist government. NSA is saying those who did this are their brothers. I don't know if it's shown at the picture. It's very gory. Okay, I can't show those pictures. Look at it. This is according to reports, armed bandits kidnapped all passengers in this commercial bus traveling between Ijowa and Ijagbe in Mopamuro local government area, Kogi.
Are anybody bẹ́ẹ̀ rí ehó mọ́tò lélẹ̀ wọ́n ti kó gbogbo wọn lọ. Rí wọn wọ́n ti kó wọn lọ pátápátá. Gbogbo wọn are anybody bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n.
Nigeria, Salobwa. Hey, God. Let me go to my bookmarks, I beg. We will first take this one. So Governor Amonike don't do skit for all the influencers indirectly campaigning for Tinubu and APC. The ones using style to run the campaign and also the ones sitting on the fence. So let's watch this. We will first take that one, first calm down first.
So I'm not sure I can campaign for you. I don't want my followers to unfollow me. Mama, you know, carry am.
Don't worry. Don't worry, I know. I know a lot of people don't want to support my government, but I have packages, you know. All the content creators that I'm paying, I know how I have different packages. Those that have liver to stay with us, full package, I give them complete money. You know, those who want to campaign with us, campaign for us directly. You know, those who want to parade our logo, ATC, and you know that they are with us, we give them full money. But we also have packages like your own. You know, let me suggest for you. All you need to do is just to come online and be saying things that will demoralize people. And when you come, just say, I don't think opposition party will amount to anything. The next election, just say something like, in fact, I'm tired of getting PVC. If you vote, where will it go? Anything that will demoralize people, just say something like, to be realistic. Governor Amonike has the best strategy, has structure. Every other person don't feel do anything. Just comment like that. Comment, it will demoralize them. And first, if you are too weak to come out to vote, we have won. Is that not it? We have won the election. So the first fight is to demoralize them. Say anything that will say, just any time.
I get you, sir.
And if you don't want that package, we also have another package.
No, this one, they okay. Oh.
You want this one?
Yes, sir.
Just in case you want other package, there's one. You will not say anything. You will not say anything. You only just focus on the skit you are shooting or the content that you are doing. Focus on your content. Don't talk about government again. Just do other content. Don't say this government is bad. Don't say I will support. Don't just anything government. If you want this package, I will give you. If you don't want this package, I can still, you know.
Me, I want the first one.
The other package, Abi.
Yes, sir.
So, you know how to tweet, to
now with the collectric make up video.
Shoot video and rant. Just shoot video. Say, this government, they are wicked. I know somebody cannot win them. The way they are structuring. Or if just say, this I will vote finish, judiciary will announce another person. Just find a way to just make comment, wham, like that. You get? And we did together. We did together. How many followers does he have? How many? 2 million. 2 million. You have followers, oh. 2 million. That means we use you more. Use you more. Use you more. Use you more. You have to say things. And I'm saying not against the government because they will find out. They find out. Just be on that fence where you'll be saying, Omo. Start with Omo. I don't want this Omo. This vote said PVC will not collect. Or start with to be realistic. That one they work. Let's be factual. Let's be realistic. Once you don't like, let's be realistic. That English they work. They work. They work well. They work.
Oh
because you say let's be realistic. Going by what we have, the election will be rigged. You go to court, now then get caught. You do this one. Just anything that will demoralize. Don't me this year I'm not collecting PVC. All those comments. They have your police.
I'm telling you not to.
Take more.
Oh my God.
I paid them. I paid all of them handsomely. Once you first demoralize them, you have won the election.
Exactly.
You know, if they come out in mass and vote, you know.
Exactly. There's a message in it, oh. Now, they are just, that's all they're busy doing, demoralizing people. That's all they're doing. I've been on their spaces. That is all they have. They don't have anything. If you ask them, a question and tell, with all this insecurity, everything, how do you think you're going to get the support? They will start to glitch. They know they see anything talk. They just start actively glitching. Real life glitch. I'm telling you, they don't have anything. Nothing.
I'm not preaching division. I believe in one Nigeria. Those of you from the southern part of this country, I'm not preaching division. I believe in one Nigeria. But don't use your head to crack coconut for somebody who does not have your interests. One of the things I know is that 2027 is not going to be like 2023. Agbabola, Atasa, it go hard.
I'm telling you.
Putting the show so the center cannot hold. Those of you from the southern part of this country.
Okay, una don hear that now. Now, una remember the guides when it comes social media, they talk say if Peter Obi enter Rivers State, he know people when they go do the thing and they no go miss. They don't arrest am. DSS don't arrest am. Whether they go do anything, no, is left to be said. Okay. Now, people are calling IITA in Ibadan. If you know IITA in Ibadan, say IITA. This guy wrote a long episode about IITA. Now, he says, dear Nigerians, are you aware that IITA is the major cause of the agricultural problems we are having in Nigeria? They are frustrating the government efforts, and we all think it's all about the government. These forces are the main issues we must deal with. IITA, it's time to pack up and leave Nigeria. You are the cause of the food shortage in Nigeria and why the prices of food keep getting high. Since you came into Nigeria and established yourself in 1967-68, the decline of Nigerian agricultural products exports dropped. By the end of the 80s, Nigeria had fully transformed from a major exporter of agricultural products into a major importer of food because of your evil work in Africa. IITA was founded and funded by the Rockefeller Family Foundation, the major financier of eugenics, a murderous and demonic mind. The Rockefeller family, Standard Oil, its core business empire, and the Rockefeller Foundation, founded 1913, have faced long-standing accusations of corrupt or unethical practices. These span ruthless monopoly tactics, labor violence, eugenics funding with Nazi-era ties and political scandals. Many stem from early 20th century events and are documented in court records, congressional hearings, academic histories, and mainstream reporting. For example, the New York Times, PBS, historical analysis with so many credible evidence. Distinctions matter. Some involve proven legal violations or direct funding. Others are associations, allegations, or interpretive claims. The Family Foundation has also conducted extensive fake help in disguise of philanthropy in public health, medicine, and education, which they use as a tool in destroying anywhere they go to. Rockefeller wants eugenics because they want to buy over 80% of Africans and most people in the world, so they can be alone with just few elite people and rule the world just as they want. They don't like stubborn and uncivilized humans, and this is why they are fighting for eugenics. Eugenics is dangerous, inhuman, and should be avoided for several well-established ethical, scientific, and historical reasons. 1, it leads to severe human rights abuses where governments or societies decide who is fit to reproduce. It inevitably results in coercion, forced sterilization, discrimination, and violence. History shows this slippery slope, from voluntary encouragement to mandatory policies and mass atrocities. 2, it is rooted in prejudice and pseudoscience. Judgments of desirability where and are subjective and biased, often targeting racial minorities, disabled people, the poor, or anyone outside the dominant group's norms. Traits like intelligence, behavior, or poverty were falsely assumed to be purely genetic and heritable in simplistic ways. 3, it devalues human diversity and dignity. Eugenics treats people as breeding stock rather than individuals with inherent worth. It implies some lives are less valuable and should be prevented, which undermines equality, autonomy, and the right to reproduce. 4, it risks modern revival through new technologies, advances like prenatal genetic screening, embryo selection, for example, via IVF, and polygenic risk scores, or potential germline editing raise new eugenics concerns. Even if voluntary and consumer driven, they can create societal pressure to avoid certain disabilities, reinforce ableism, widen inequalities, only the wealthy access enhancements, or echo old discriminatory patterns. 5, it has no place in a just society. The reproductive decisions belong to individuals, not state programs or arbitrary improvement goals. True progress comes from supporting people, for example, through medicine, education, inclusion, rather than trying to engineer population reduction. Guess who is also involved in IIT? The Ford Foundation, the eugenist. Oh my goodness. All the evil is happening in Nigeria right now. All. Okay, let's keep going. Boko Haram is trending. This is trending explained. Boko Haram is trending because its Islamic State-sponsored faction, ISWAP, reportedly unalived a Nigerian army major and many soldiers in a Borno base. But IPOB influencers are parading a gory image from 2020 claiming 50 soldiers were killed yesterday. So okay, they are debunking that. Actually, the photo is casualties of the 198th Special Forces Battalion Borno in July 6, 2020, whose trucks encountered a Boko Haram IED along Maiduguri-Damaturu Road in Mainok. At least 14 soldiers were on. You can't even trust this Nigerian news, to be honest. You can't trust it. Let's move forward, because they will only tell stories that suit the government. Now, ISWAP claims the attack against the Gejram and Mayinti military camps of the Nigerian army, mentioning the killing of NA Major UI Mariga and 2 other soldiers, the destruction of 9 vehicles, including several armored, and the capture of weapons and motorcycles from the bases. Una dey hear? Ew, salubwa. Okay. So this is trending. Fulani is not a tribe in Nigeria. Absolutely. Now, listen to this man. I hope that everybody in Nigeria start to talk like this man. This revolution we dey look for, we might just get it. Let's listen.
That we are coming out with a statement, a very strong statement, to tell everybody that enough is enough. Akasa irigwe babu da Fulani. Jama'a, idan kana da gidanka, dan mutum ya zo ya zama da kai na lafiya kai zama da shi. Amma kana da gida, mutum baya zama da kai, sai kullu ya zo ka sa tukunya, sai ya zo ya sa hannu, sai tukunyan rubuta ya kone shi. Say taking responsibility. From now henceforth, I want to take the whole world. No Irugwe man will take responsibility for somebody that we don't know. If a Fulani man should come to Irugwe land, he will come at his own risk. No Irugwe man, no Plateau youth, no Plateau person should be arrested for any Fulani that comes. We will not take that rubbish again. If they come here, their cows should be at their own risk. Their own lives should be at their own risk. Nobody should be held responsible. I've discovered that arrested them. What do me Fulani? What Gawan Fulani? What Gawan Shanu Yamutu? What are the Fulani there? What are the Fulani? We have entertained this because of peace. But I won't hear it. So from now henceforth, security hear me and hear me clear. Don't arrest any Irugwe man because of the death of any cow in Irugwe land again. We will not take it. We will not take it. We will not take it.
Everybody need to carry fire like this. You can't be gentle when people are unaliving. Everybody need to carry fire. Yeah, sure, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Natu. Welcome. Greetings, my sister.
Omoye,
I did, body day inside. How my people now? How my people did? That's
they don't sleep.
Hey, yeah, that's nice. Okay, now true. You don't pass bedtime.
I don't understand how the 2-month-old baby will be fighting sleep. One of them is to fight sleep. He wants to stay awake and do what. It's not like he's crying. He just wants to be awake.
Now so now
and be looking.
they can't
Yes,
all be the
Jesus,
same now.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh. So basically, what this man was saying, right? I'm enjoying it too. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, good.
So basically, what he was saying is that if you're in your house and somebody wants to live in peace with you, live in peace with him. But anybody that does not want to live in peace with you, don't live in peace with the person. So because there's no reason why you put food on the fire and then somebody will come and put an inside the food.
Exactly.
And you say you should not talk. You see where I used to give my analogy. You see where my analogy is rhyming now.
It's rhyming, no, very well.
Yeah, so he said that they are tired.
Exactly.
That because the cow is dead or a Fulani person is dead. He said in their community they don't have Fulani. Their tribe does not have Fulani. So no Fulani is that in their area again. So no Fulani. They're taking over just small by small now. They be saying Fulani from Jos. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. I had to mute so that there won't be any feedback.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you know that they're taking over. They're taking over just slowly now.
Yes.
So that's why this man said that they don't have Fulani in their area. So any Fulani that comes to their own area that they don't reach. And then he sent message to security, DSS there. They should not arrest their use for any Fulani, for the mistake of any Fulani person. Anything will happen, they will arrest them, but do not arrest Fulani people for all they are doing. That's what the guy is saying.
That's good. I'm glad that he's standing up. And I'm glad that he's saying that they will not allow their young people to be arrested again. It's for a crime that a Fulani person. It's just crazy to me. Eh?
I'm telling you, very soon we'll have Fulani from Ikwe. Fulani, we'll have them very soon.
I'm telling you, because they don't take over their full River State now. I hear these people are using them. Wike was using them, political whatever. Eh?
This is the problem. This is what Shetima did, and now he can't continue this. The problem.
Oh, thank you very much, my sister. Make I get more videos.
I mean, if anything comes up.
Yeah, okay. Please. I appreciate them. Yes, no thank you.
Even if they say they do the election very free and fair, Peter Obi can never win Tinubu.
Which part of the country go really vote Tinubu? Now northeast, when we say many people don't run come up with their villages. Now northwest, where bandits don't take over. I've been at north central, places like Kwara, where we say more. Then they tip 150 people at once. So we vote them. Now southeast, you know how they reject the so-called city boys and city girls and city politically engineered billionaires where they claim city this and city that. You know how they reject them overnight. I've been at south where I come from, where me and you come from. You, for your mind, for that data state where you pay, forget say Sheriff Oboro and all those other people don't go join APC. If they do free and fair election for your area, Peter will be the ballot, Tinubu the ballot. Who you think say your people where they your area, that place where you did that your museum put, who you think say they go vote for? You say Peter will be no get structure. What is your definition of structure? The ultimate structure in politics is the people. That is why it's called democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people. The people is the number one structure in a democracy. If you don't have the people, that is when you start running after structure, running after city boys, running after city girls, running after governors. You have 31 governors, but you are afraid of free and fair election. You have 75 senators, but you are afraid of free and fair election. You have 270 House of Rep members, but you are afraid of free and fair election. With your structure, you run for free and fair election. Structure are the people and who the people believe in and who the people want vote in an election. Finish. That's the structure. Without structure in 2023, Peter Obi win majority votes. Me and you know. Without structure, Peter Obi win Delta State and come from. Without structure, Peter Obi win Lagos State when Tinubu come from. Which other structure passed Tinubu structure for Lagos? Peter Obi win for them. That should tell you it's not about structure. The next way you talk, we say Tinubu, they incumbent. Now the president has announced, so it's impossible to remove him. Again, it be like saying you still new for this conversation of politics. Goodluck Jonathan was an incumbent president. Not just an incumbent president. Goodluck Jonathan had won election 4 years before he lost election in 2015. The 2011 general election, Jonathan won flat. Go and find out. Do your research. But in 2015, he lost that election. Go and find out. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking Jonathan was a weak president. Jonathan was not a weak president. Jonathan is the first president that brought foreign mercenaries to come and fight in Nigeria. Go and check. Fact check me. Out of 250 million Nigeria, if 30 million Nigerians rise up today and say Tinubu is gone, Tinubu is gone. Now, because Nigerians don't know the power where they inside them, now make them believe, say, because person and one person in Abuja. What is special about the president? Nothing. I'm telling you the bitter truth. Forget that they pay everybody, that they pay influencers, that they give everybody money, that they buy governors, that they buy everybody. If you really trust yourself, if you have done well, you don't need to bribe everybody to come and join you in your political party before you can win the election. You said Peter will be no day popular again as he did before. The problem with that your point is that the only person today that is more popular than even the president is Peter Obi. Peter Obi is the only person that defeated a sitting president in his own home state. Defeated a sitting president in his own polling unit. Why is it that the entire strategy of the Tinubu administration is to make sure say Obi no day the ballot in 2027? Why are they so scared of him? They are not even scared of Atiku. They don't talk about Atiku.
At all.
Why is everybody being paid to attack Obi? Why is it that today Obi now be the only person where they talk? Everybody is talking about Obi. Everybody is insulting Obi. Everybody is attacking Obi. Why? Because Obi is the only credible opposition we have in Nigeria today. As we speak today, Obi is the most popular politician in Nigeria. In a free and fair election, or more, no, they're not going to see Obi back. And the final point we make is say, now only Tunde Ednos, now they push Obi. Yes, now only Tunde Ednos, now be the only influencer now where they never stick by. It is open knowledge. Then they give some people 30 million, then they give some people 50 million. People of your category now, in case they never give you, your own should be not less than 100 million. It is public knowledge. They reach out to people. You know, go and look at Governor Amune's case post on it. Then they reach out to people every day. Finally, my dear brother, I love you from my heart. You now intelligent person. You get what they call native intelligence. My dear brother, you see that tortoise, make you say you want to put your finger so remove am. God has blessed you. Gege, God has blessed you. The tortoise, make you say you want to put your finger so remove am. You know, there is nothing anybody wants to give to you today that you cannot afford for yourself. There's nothing anybody wants to do for you today that you cannot do for yourself. Remove your hand from that tortoise speckles when you want to chip your finger. Nothing they there. It's not the last. They go only rubbish you. You go lose your fame. You go lose your popularity. At the end of the day, they will dump you. Trust me.
So, moving along, okay, we don't see this video. Wait, I think.
You know what? We don't believe it. The reason.
Wait, hold on 1 second.
I saw your frustration trying to tell us that you're going to do the right thing. But you know what? We don't believe it. The reason. No, don't clap. I didn't come to get any claps.
Okay, let's move forward.
A narrative coming from the Nigerian. Sean, following up on that, why is there a narrative coming from the Nigerian government that attacks on Christians are not religiously based?
Yeah, it's been a series of denials for years and years, and it hasn't just been the Nigerian government, it's been the mainstream media that's done this for many years. And only in the past year, and I think especially after President Trump's big announcement back in October, calling out the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, hasn't gained a lot more traction. You're talking about thousands every single year, for year and year on end. This past year, there was recent numbers, about 3,490 Christians killed and targeted for their faith, and that's just the murders. And as Father Remy mentioned, we're talking about putting people into churches, locking them there and burning the churches where you can't even find out what the numbers are. You're talking about internally displaced persons, mothers and their children being hacked to death. It's atrocious, and it's been happening all the time, every single week. Just this week now in Adamawa State, there were dozens who were killed in an attack there. The denials, I think, as Father Remy said, there is some politics going on. Nigeria is roughly split between about half Muslim, half Christian, and many of those Muslims are in the north, and that's an important political bloc. And nobody wants to say all Muslims are extremists or violent. That's absolutely wrong. And where, especially in the south, Muslims and Christians have gotten along very very well. In many parts of the North, they get along very well. But there is a growing extremist ideology that's been growing for about 20, 25 years, and that because the denials of that extremism have been going on, it's been allowed to fester. So that's been just an atrocity.
You said they reach out to Ed Not. Okay, now I'm not surprised. Since we know that the elections will not be free and fair, what's the next step? Who go can't tell you for here now, Tracy? Anybody then will go can't tell you say this is the plan openly? Come on now, sis. Who is coming to do that?
How many politicians do we have in Nigeria that you can actively pray for and say, I want my child to be exactly like this person? About nobody. I want to turn out exactly
Peter
like this
Obi.
person. Then that's the problem. I think the type of politics and the
Peter
idea of what
Obi.
a politician
No
is
hard.
in Nigeria is why a lot of young people shy away from it, because they think it's dirty, it's for people that are not exposed, it's for this, it's for that. But on the contrary, it's for the people that are learned, the people that have traveled, the people that know better, the people that have a means, because politics is not supposed to be a career. It's not career work. But it is for a lot of people. That's the issue. It has been turned, we have career politicians, and that's the problem. Because you're going to do whatever it takes to get into office because you have no plan B. The entirety of your existence is hinged on getting into this office. The life that you want to create for yourself, for your family, I want my kids to travel, go to this school, this, that, you want to ride, whatever you've envisioned is tied to whether you get into office or not, which is also why you need a godfather, because you feel like this team must work, whatever it takes, and whatever it tells you, you're going to swallow it, because you're bringing almost no value to the table. So you don't need a godfather to be in politics? I don't think that you do. A lot of people do. Because the style of politics that we practice, which is what we need to change.
Do you feel like the people that are in positions to empower others, you feel like they're doing enough?
Of course not. Safe to say you support Peter Obi over Tinubu. Honestly, life was easier 2 years ago.
What is safer now than 10 years ago? That's a very good question. Nigeria is safer now than 10 years ago. That is true. Never, never, never. This government has killed more bandits than any of the since Jonathan. Nigeria today is more unsafe than it had ever been. When last have you heard of bomb blast in Nigeria? Like last week. Vehicle-based improvised explosive device ran into the Nigerian forces in the northeast. As I'm talking to you, I can open my phone now. You will see the number of those relatives that have been kidnapped. It is not that this administration that Nigerians are depending on individuals to confront kidnappers or security agents. It's not today that they'll be kidnapping people in their house. Not that this administration. Like a brigadier general, a brig gen, what a brigadier general was murdered in cold blood. His handset taken, all classified.
No can wait. He say what? Nigeria is the safest it has ever been. Nigeria is what? You know,
I know what I beg. I know watch all the full town hall. You watch and finish. You watch everything.
Under here. That's what you are saying very, very well. Yeah. Because that nonsense that you are saying, we don't know where this mouth. This mouth.
Are you the massager? You got the knocker. Sorry. Massage no. Make like a knock. No,
see the mouth. He say what?
Finish him.
Drink this hot water.
Yes. I think you should just dip him inside.
I need to. Okay, I will try. I'll make time. My schedule is so tight. Even though this one and I manage, I take come out.
And I'm a looking person.
I will try.
You don't born, no, you don't black before now. Oh, Jim.
Say Yalamala. You say what? Nigeria is the safest way.
I don't even have anything.
Where? With people that are dying on a daily basis.
They argue. If you see argument for that interview, no, she.
We hope that this aboniki that we are using to massage this your mouth and your head, that you will not say that kind of rubbish again.
Yeah, don't apologize, no, you don't learn. I hope you've learned.
I hope you've learned because they are saying, but your family is abroad.
You want to hide your own.
Your family is abroad.
They are kidnapping people
every day, every second.
You say, is it today that they've been kidnapping people? Is it today that they... you have sold your conscience to the point that you are so insensitive.
Like, you don't even care. You hear the smell. You don't care about anybody. The plight of the regular person.
I'm going to touch you. This Nigeria that you are defending nonsense to keep coming back, it will affect you.
Yes,
you think you're safe?
No.
You think you're protected? Your own road is special.
So.
Your own security is special.
Your hospital service is special.
Special. The whole aircraft is special. Everything is special.
Okay. No, we're all here. We'll be here. You're finished. Throw it up.
Okay, I think I said I was going to bring that part out. The man, he needs to take care of him. See the belly, God I beg
our
you.
fans and loved ones.
I think I was going to, hold on, let me go back to it, actually. It's just that portion of the INEC chairman. There's this one right here. They cut it out. It's 3 minutes and 35. Let me see if there's any other one. Let's see. Close. May I play this 3 minute clip for us?
Monday.com's
Ian and APC, they don't agree on some things now.
Biologically
It's an impartial umpire. And the burden of
Somebody say,
Now, you see, there are a lot of maybe I won't.
Oh, he used to be a wreck in INEC.
Sir, ABC. Let me assure you, the beavers you are talking about, everything is there now. No, just hold on. The beavers, the accreditation number is the beavers.
They are there. Show us.
The result
Exactly.
is in the beavers. Even whatever problem on the strength of beavers, you can resolve it.
Correct.
Even without
Correct. Correct.
everything is there. But people will not check it and watch it.
But it's not being resolved, sir.
That is why. No, everything, beavers in every billing unit has all the details. So number two, I have said that we are putting a safeguard that will ensure that what you send henceforth.
This man is lying. He's going to be worse than Mahmud.
In fact, there are so many things you should not even be saying for now. Because, people are trying to study your system. But at the same time, what we have put in place is very simple.
That lie. Not a word from his mouth is believable. That's a lie.
Without even going anywhere.
It's a lie. He's lying to
Then
you.
number two, is the fact that there's already a safeguard. All those that know you are citing and whatever happened should not happen again. Because the essence of this safeguard is to ensure that whatever you are sending to IREC.
All this energy when they talk, if he really meant what he was saying right now, if he really means and believes what he's saying, FCT would have been different. You would have seen it in the election in FCT. Clearly, all that's coming out of this man's mouth, Amupiton, lies after lies. If you believe him, it's at your own detriment. That's why I probably didn't. That's why I probably didn't want to bother watching it, to be quite honest, because everything is lies. And for me, there's a lot of things that they cannot come out and say publicly. For people that are, who have plans to deal with this election, there's things that they're not going to come out and say publicly. So me, I'm tired of, just like you said earlier, Tracy, cho, right? I want to see the main thing happening. Right, so this man with only big stomach, they don't promise her heaven and earth. The heaven we never see for in life before, they don't promise her. In children who don't better, they don't really put them for the best schools for the world when they don't go ever use to benefit themselves. So all this, everything that's coming out of this man's mouth, lies. Do you guys remember how Mahmud was talking in the last election? Mahmud had his face, the man looked very serious when he was talking. And he will lie, straight up lie in your eyeball. That's exactly what this man is doing. When you think about what Mahmoud did, think about what this man is capable of doing. And his own is even going to be worse. Remember, he's an Agbado. He was put there. He's also part of the Agbado kingdom. He's a Yari bastard. Like all of them. Do you understand that Tinubu has hired? Because Tinubu is running Yoruba nationalism at the expense of everybody in Nigeria. Okay? So this man, anything that's coming out of his mouth is lies. With the dramatization with his hand, with the way he's talking, every shouting emotionally is a lie. It is a complete lie. Let's continue.
It will not go. And logistically, what we have done
Exactly. Better liar.
In terms of training of the actual staff.
Can't you fool me once?
So there are so many things that we're trying to put in place so as to get the assurance. But the problem we have is that there's complete lack of trust.
Before.
And this is because there's no tradition. People should know that there are certain things they should not do. APC should know that there are certain things they should not do.
APC. Talk about APC. Now don't agree for backyard. They can't push you come and maybe they talk with emotion and energy. Lies. All lies.
Just give me 2 seconds.
Lies upon lies upon lies.
INEC is as constrained as political parties. The reason being that the timeline was reduced.
It's calling, no WhatsApp calling. Prince, you have been wanting to say something. It's WhatsApp calling. Let me share my WhatsApp calling. You call WhatsApp so that other people can join in if they want to.
The election was conducted under the repeal 2010 election. But when it came to the swearing in, the act has come into place. Political parties are engaged with all of them, even media. And I lamented the problem we had, that if I didn't go to the press, and that section, that law did not come into effect, then we'll not be able to issue any timetable. Because people will challenge it. I had to take a preemptive step, and we went to the press to declare the result. Because we don't know whether the National Assembly will be able to meet up. And we're happy to...
You have not liked the life,
Within the time, somebody will go to court and annul the whole process. And so what would be hope of Nigerian democracy?
Yeah. Lies. All that one that he's talking from emotion and talking and dramatizing lies after lies after lies. Take it. Don't even take anything. Just look, just yimu. And when you finish, just do your nose up like that. Everything he's saying is all cock and bull. They ain't gonna do nothing for nobody. Okay? I say WhatsApp, oh, Mr. Prince, call WhatsApp, so that people can join. Oh my goodness. Okay, Mr. Prince, you have the floor. I talk.
Okay, yes. This upcoming election is very concerning to me. I'm not very optimistic on this upcoming election because first of all, they moved I think they moved the election from February to January. I really don't know why they did that. But anyway, I don't think,
especially on the issue of...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think we should be optimistic about this upcoming election. You know what I'm saying? Because none of and what I noticed that none of the candidates, you know what I'm saying, even none of them mention about how we can protect our elections from rigging. You know what I'm saying? None of them mention about it. So I think these candidates are just wasting their time, because we all know what's going to happen in this upcoming election, and if we don't do something about it, it's not going to be pretty for us. You know what I'm saying? So my greatest advice for the running against Tinubu in this upcoming election is to find ways to help prevent rigging and to help this election to be fair and credible. You know what I'm saying? And I would like the U.S. to intervene in this election. It will really help out.
Okay, that's what you wanted to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not today move the election. No, it's now in January. You don't know, they don't move until January now, because they are trying to steal the election, right? So, Prince, I don't agree with you that the people that are trying to run the opposition is wasting their time. I don't agree with you. Okay, yeah, what are you doing different? It's not only up to the opposition. Everybody has work to do. You, since you are concerned about Nigeria, what are you doing? So it's not about, oh, what is the opposition doing? You. What do you they do? What parts? Where do you fall in? What have you done? How many people grassroots movement? What are you doing? What have you put in place? Because this is everybody's business. This is every Nigerian's business. It's not just opposition. How many there be for opposition? Compare that to the number of Nigerians. If enough critical number of Nigerians come out to vote, that election, I streamed Aisha Yusufu's conversation with Donu Kogbara, the journalist, earlier on today. She said something, and she said, you know, they are counting on the voter apathy. They are counting on you not showing up. They are counting on you. And the trick they're using is demoralization. The truth is that the APC government is afraid because they know they don't have the popularity of the people. So what are they doing? They are ensuring that all the governors at the campaign, they have all the governors. How many? Is it not one vote that the governor have? If a critical mass of people come out and vote, do they stand a chance? And people say no. That's revolution that people have been talking about. Let it start from that election day. That's the best opportunity you have to do what you need to do in Nigeria. So it's not by criticizing those that are doing something and saying, oh, you feel they are wasting. They are not wasting their time, clearly. If they felt they were wasting their time, you won't be seeing them talking about the issues concerning Nigeria. They won't be having a town hall and talking about it and calling out the INEC chair and saying, we don't trust you, we don't believe you, show us proof. They won't be doing that. So me, I don't accept it when people come up and say, oh, they are wasting their time. No, they are not wasting their time. Question is, what are you doing? Everybody has their role cut out for them. So everybody need to go ask themselves question. What are you doing? Where do you fall? What is your own role in it? Because if the country is sweet, now everybody go sweet for. If it bad, now everybody go bad for. Now that we're where we are, what are you doing? What are you doing? So it's not up to the opposition alone. Yes, the opposition have to get their acts together. I agree with that 100%. They have to get their acts together. They have to know what they are doing. There's registration going on ADC. Have you registered? That's the question. Have you registered? I've shared it on my channel's post. Go and check it out. Register. You gotta register to be a member of the party. If you want to change stuff, you gotta be a part of it. Okay, so nobody's waiting for anybody. Those that are doing it because they believe that they can do something. If we all fold our hands and say, oh, they're just wasting time, let us just, then why am I even coming out then? I don't think it's a waste of my time. That's why I find it time to come out. Because the more we talk, we have to keep talking until something happens. This is what I can do now. This is, apart from what I do behind the scenes, this is what I can do outside. To talk about what's going on, shine light on it, talk about issues concerning it. This is what I have taken up to do. Everybody get a role to play. You understand? So I disagree with you. I don't like that comment. Oh, they are not wasting their time. Please. They are not wasting their time. They are doing the best they can. Let everybody go do their best too. Let everybody go and do something. People that are talking about revolution, show us the way of revolution. Since you have the answer, show us. Not be to come talk, the best way I think is revolution. Show us. The people that are saying it's revolution have not done it. You do it. Show us example. Maybe if you show us example of how, then we will follow you and say, this guy knows something we don't know. Until then, everybody's doing the best they can. So if you feel there's a different way that can be done, do your own. Let everybody see. Maybe it's you everybody will gravitate towards, right? Nobody has all the answers. We're all trying here. We're all doing our part. I have chosen not to keep quiet no matter what. Because at the end of the day, it's my ancestral home. If it goes down, everything else goes down. What are we talking about? So it's not enough to say they are wasting their time. If they were wasting their time, we will not have been talking about electoral act. It took one person, Peter Aka, to consistently stand on electoral reform, push only one. I remember when he was not popular, people were not even reposting his videos. If he does it, people will just waka pass. It is those of us that will say, this man is onto something. No, let's be showing his video at least, maybe to gain momentum. Single-handedly, he kept pushing before he started getting people's attention. So everybody has work to do. So don't come and say anybody is wasting their time. Please, if you feel they're wasting your time, you do your own. What we see. Put your money where your mouth is. May everybody do their part.
Right.
You understand?
Right. I understand. Do you think U.S. intervention can in this upcoming election can help?
I mean, we would need some type of intervention, right? But we can't bank on it. Because at the end of the day, it's still the people that will decide. It's still the people that have the power. Look at what happened with Iran. Do you know how long those people were on the streets protesting? Do you know how many people they unalived in Iran? 32,000 people. They still did not give up. They got Trump's attention by that. What are Nigerians doing? You have some part of the country coming out and protesting for Iran. The people that are most affected by it, you don't see them on the streets protesting. If a critical mass of people come out in Nigeria, you cannot fold your hand and be waiting for help from outside. It doesn't work like that. You have to show people, you have to give people a reason to come and help you. If that is not happening, sorry, they will just think you are comfortable in it. They will think they'll just come in and gloss over it and walk away because the people are not showing that they are ready for the change that they're talking about. Look at Washington, D.C. Protest held. There was a protest again today. How many people showed up? We don't know. We don't know how many people showed up. There's a protest coming up again in June. How many people are going to show up in Washington? That's the problem. In Nigeria, the same thing. You cannot fold your hand and be waiting for an outsider to come and help you. It does not work like that. It was even gracious for Trump to even put mouth and tweet and say, no, I'm not going to allow this continue to happen. It was even gracious of him. If he chooses not to do anything, then what happens? You sleep, you remain in it and continue like that. The people have to wake up. If there's going to be help from outside, you that is inside the mess has to be doing something first. You cannot rely on outsider. They can disappoint you. You can't put your hope on anybody and expect that, oh, these people are coming to it. No, it doesn't work like that. Everybody needs to come. This is why this election is the most, you want to talk about revolution, you want to talk about, this is the golden opportunity right here. So everybody should be mobilizing. First of all, go and register if you are able to. Go and you have NIN. Go and register with ADC. Immediately. ADC opened their portal. Over 5 million people registered. The thing on the hook. This is to tell you how tired people are of APC. So everybody get work to do. I'm not waiting for any Donald Trump. If he intercede, you do what you need to do, fine. If you not do, we'll come they wait for him. Where there's fire, he's putting out too many fires at the same time. If he happens to be involved and one way or the other we're able to get the things that we go, all well and good, but let's work as though there's no help coming from anywhere. How about that? Let's not put our hope. The worst thing you can do as a person is to have expectations that somebody else is coming to do it for you. You have to rely on yourself first. If someone now decides, okay, they want to help you, then it will be an addition. It will be an addition. This is where I stand. So let's not fold our hands and be waiting for Trump to do, because he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to. So that's my take there.
I understand. These governors that are moving to APC and all of them. So at least it's up to at least 30 of the 36 states or APC members. So 6 of them are not. So up to 83% of them are APC members. So I think eventually all of them are going to be APC members. You know,
they already are. They've already decamped, but only the governors have only one vote. So all of them that are decamping, if you want to put a number to it, maybe like 1,000. How is 1,000 compared to millions of citizens? They only have one vote. All that, oh, we're going to give you 2.5 million votes. We're going to, that's if the people allow it to happen. If everybody gets ready on that day, right, and says, nobody lives here alive. Nobody lives here alive. You steal my vote, everybody go down. You think that they're going to rig the election? They won't be able to. Even with the how many security forces they get left? With the ones Boko Haram are unaliving every day, the ones that they kidnap too, because they kidnap some of these security agencies too. Abi, you don't know. How many what's it called, security agencies do we? How many people left in the security agencies? How many compared to the population in Nigeria? So the people have to be ready. That's just it. Everybody's talking about revolution. There's an opportunity that's presenting itself now. Everybody needs to be mobilizing. Simple. Ibi, welcome. Oh, greetings. Good to see you. You come late again today. Oh, now replay gang you go there. Oh. Welcome.
A poor turnout on election day will make rigging much easier.
Exactly. So this is where the work is. So everybody needs to go and be mobilizing their grassroots. You understand? I don't know if you know about smart ballot. It's an app that's been created where you can register and get people on the grassroots to also register. You know, you get them on there so that they can register, so you can see the number of people in your polling unit. Everybody needs to get on smart ballot. You know, so these are things that are happening that people need to. It's not enough to just come and say, you know, oh, what's going to happen now? What do we? Yeah, everybody go, they do what they need to do until, if we don't do anything, we have to keep pushing. From there, maybe something will happen. But if we're not doing anything and we're dousing pulling down those that are even trying, then they do ourselves, because who's going to lose? It's the people. It's the people. These people are already prepping their children to take over, and their children are going to be worse than their fathers. Their children don't have any empathy. They did not grow up. Some of them were not born in Nigeria. They were born outside. They went to all the Ivy League schools. Some of them, they take Johnson baby powder. Before they come, they don't go rehab, come back. They don't have the same empathy. So we need to know what we are doing. Otherwise, on Otilo, sadly.
Yeah. I have an idea. If the polling agent tells you that there's no network, tell them to calm down, that you guys are ready to sleep there until the network comes, and we shall run them out of ideas.
That's it. That's the only way. So you should now go back to your people, your community, and go and sensitize them. If you have somebody on ground that you can, provide logistics for, resources to mobilize, because this is where we are. If the people don't come out, if there's voter apathy, they will have every room to rig, and that's what they want. That's what they're creating, that voter apathy. It started with Abdul. So there's a lot of work to be done. It's not enough to complain. No excuses. We don't have any excuses. We have to tell ourselves that country, we need to get it back. However way we can. We must take it from the hands of these. How many are they? If we really know what we're doing, how many are these people? If let's say there's a polling unit of the register, let's say they register what's it called? In a polling, there are 100 people, right? All 100 people show up plus extra. They'll probably have one person trying to rig. If 100 people gather down one person, say no come out of there alive. I mean, let's know what we are doing, because this is really a life or death. It's a life or death situation right now that we are in Nigeria, unfortunately. It is. So the APC government is not sleeping. They are looking for ways to make sure they rig. Why should you sleep? Whether we like it or not, APC is afraid. That's why they are trying to create voter apathy. They are afraid of you. They are afraid of Nigerians. They are afraid because they know Nigerians do not want them. Nigerians don't like them. So they are looking for ways. It's out of fear that they're doing all these things now. You think that APC party people are not afraid? They are. If they are not afraid, they will not be forcing and threatening other people to decamp. They will not. That's to tell you that they're afraid of you. But Nigerians don't understand that yet. So we have to. The critical mass of Nigerians have to. We have to do more than what we did in 2023. So everybody needs to get busy. No time to feel sorry for anybody. No time to feel sorry for yourself is what we need to do.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so I have a couple more videos to show us. So if you have anything else you want to say, you can call back, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Mhm.
To Nigerians. Indeed. Nice being here. Happy New Month, indeed. Well, quite a number of things to look at from from the outcomes of that particular meeting. And for Nigerians who missed it, we have some snippets coming out of that meeting. One of them was from the INEC chairman, where he said that they will not be able to guarantee 100% election integrity, but they certainly will do their best. Here's what he said at that meeting.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Do their best,
Hello,
do their best.
And I know Nigerians desire is a perfect election. And INEC will strive as much as possible to give this country the best election. However, we may not be able to achieve.
So, Engineer Possible, welcome. No matter the understanding, they have money. What do you have? Money is not everything. What do you have? That's the question you should be asking yourself. What do you have? You can't be thinking limiting thoughts. Do you want your country back or you don't? If you don't want to, if you have given up and you say, oh, these people have all this money, they have, oh, there's nothing we can do, then so be it. Nature will respond to you accordingly. It's that simple. APC is doing what they are doing. They are doing it afraid. They know the people do not want them back. They know. But you know that people that recognize that, you are looking at them and you are looking at all the everything that you think they have. Oh, they have the monopoly of violence. Oh, they have all the money, and you are limiting yourself and the way that you are seeing it. That means you have given up now. You have thrown your hands up in the air and say, oh, woe is me. What can I do? Meanwhile, you have the numbers. Everybody needs to get to work, not be to come they cry. So they have the money. Does money buy people that are sick from the person when they're sick now when they hospital when you want to buy? How much money you want to give them when you go make and well? I beg.
100% perfect election for now. But as far as electronic transmission of results is concerned, I said it before FCT Area Council that we have the capacity to transmit the results and that we're going to transmit the results. The only concern was real time. What is real time? For instance, if you use your app to make a transfer from your account, even in Abuja town, you are transferring 50,000 to Mr. B. And it's from your app, the amount has gone. But the person may not receive the alert until another 30 minutes, another hour, or even in the evening. So those are some of the things. And when you say it is real time, as soon as it is done, it must be received. So result management and logistics are two basic issues that from our own end, we're trying to see how best we're able to manage it very well, so as to enhance the transparency and credibility of the system.
I wish that you can look into the camera and promise Nigerians that under Professor Joash Amupito, election of 2027 will be the best ever. Is that a promise that you can give us?
By the grace of God, election of 2027.
By the grace of
will be
God.
the best election that Nigerians will have.
Lie, na lie, yo. Lies.
From what you have in 2027. People are much more aware. And you know the correlation between election and development. Nobody is happy about the classification of Nigeria as an underdeveloped country. So we want a situation where our process will be able to guarantee the confidence and the legitimacy that people will want to see in their system.
Well, the idea behind that particular town hall
I'd rather be
meeting was to seek
shocked.
clarity.
Man, all I hear
Hold
is
INEC's
lies,
foot to the
lies,
fire,
lies.
let them know the weight of the expectations on them, and also to get their own thinking, reassurance that they indeed are ready to meet the expectations of Nigerians. Watching that town hall meeting yesterday, did you get that?
You look, Nigerians have never lacked charisma. If policies and churning out good talks is only what it needs to be a developed nation, who will be the number one? Our problem has always been implementation. And so I wouldn't be carried away by fairy tales, because we've been deceived a lot by good talkers. We want good doers. Even God Almighty said, it's not the sayers of the words that are justified, but the doers of it. So what we are going to judge anybody is by the actions. Professor Yakubu Mahmud, was even more charismatic than Joash Amipoton. I heard he's a professor of history. He said that when he will be announcing the results, there will be a big television on his head showing what he's announcing, and the whole world will be seeing it. He guaranteed everything about electronic transmission of results. And on the election day, he told you he had technical glitch. The definition has defied even the greatest professors. Now, what we are praying for is, please match your words with action.
Bam.
Why is it that we are the most blessed country on earth, and the adjectives that they used to describe us, fantastically corrupt, the poorest nation, most traumatized by terrorists, the most underdeveloped? Why? Because we don't live up to the true meaning of our words. So words now don't matter. We are expecting actions.
Indeed. Certainly, I mean, some people will say the taste of the pudding will be in the eating, and I'm sure a lot of people will be looking forward to that. But if we're to go by what we have experienced so far, because the ADC, as well as a number of other political parties, came together last week to voice their dissatisfaction with the new Electoral Act as passed. And people were wondering, hold on, did people just wake up to see what was happening? This was the big debate in the National Assembly for the last 2-3 weeks. How is it that, it's after the deed has been done that the APC, beg your pardon, the ADC, the NNPP, and a number of other political parties were just waking up. So it seemed. But they said, the argument they made was that this was informed by what they saw in the FCT council polls, which INEC conducts. I'm still a little uncertain as to what precisely the coalition opposition parties saw. Maybe you want to give a little clarity.
Sure.
But then it will seem some people say, look, we haven't quite felt the presence of opposition as we ought to in terms of their preparations for the forthcoming elections.
Good. You know what you just said is echoing the dubious propaganda of APC. Why do I say that? Nigerians should not be carried away by what this dubious APC is doing. Why am I saying that again?
Exactly.
Are you aware that up till now, the gazetted copy of the Electoral Act 2026 is not out?
Oh, so they can change it to suit
APC
them.
is intentionally hiding everything so that Nigerians do not even understand until it is too late.
I'm telling you.
The FCT election was conducted under an unknown law.
Yep.
And this is against the rule of law. Before you implement a law on a people, it must be publicly published. That's one of the cardinal principles that will make law to achieve its primary function, which is orderliness in the society. Now, the National Assembly dubiously changed what they originally agreed on. Everybody agreed on mandatory transmission of results, and that was what they settled until
Yemi Pat.
and said, no,
Okay,
this is what I
see
want.
Yemi
And
Pat.
then they put this devilish proviso. And that was after the fight from the opposition. So when people say you're not feeling what the opposition is doing, have you forgotten that Senator Badio wanted to go back to 2022 Electoral Act? That was the first amendment. It was the opposition figures fight that made them to now go back to put the electronic transmission to make it compulsory. But they now added a proviso, very devilish, enemies of democracy, to water down, to cut down the import of the main clause in the statute. We have been the most vibrant opposition party on earth, but people are not looking at the devilish covering of information. I said up till now. So we are even going ahead of APC by even bringing the discourse of what they have even refused to publish for Nigerians. Immediately an act becomes law, you publish it in the Gazette. Have you seen any?
In the town hall, okay.
So these Nigerians should please hold this government of destruction into account as we are doing. The FCT election, after it was conducted under an unknown law, we are still interrogating it. Now let me come to the Electoral Act 2026 and tell you the things that are done. Everybody already knows the popular one, that the electronic transmission is now compulsory with an unintelligent proviso which makes no meaning in front of law. Because they said if there's communication failure that makes it impossible for you to transmit, you will go back to the manually generated result. Now, here is the catch. Even the electronic transmission is still the preservation of the manual. So nobody ever said you should dispose of the manual. What we are saying is that you should store the manual, preserve it, so that the integrity will be preserved as what you produced in the polling unit. Now again, when you finish the election, you take the beavers to the collation center. The electronic result is already stored in the beavers. And it's from the beavers you get the accreditation figures. So if you can get the accreditation figures from the beavers, why wouldn't you get the result that is already stored in the beavers? And again, you don't need communication network to transmit, as Josh Amipoto pointed out, as Yakubu has pointed out. So then what's the meaning of the provision? You don't need, okay, if you snap me with your phone, automatically my image drops in your gallery. And you can upload to any person in your phone or any group platform. What you need network is for you to download, not to upload. And once the presiding officer finishes the uploading, his job is finished. The downloading is reserved for the collation officer that will receive it. And even if he doesn't receive it, the copy is already in the beavers. So that settles it. So no precise to tell anybody that he cannot upload. Then that means he wants to rig election. And you have the right as a Nigerian citizen to use reasonable force to prevent him from committing a crime in your presence. Now, let's go to the other very dangerous provisions.
Is that a law?
Yes, of course that's a law.
Using reasonable force?
Yes, to prevent anybody from committing a crime in your presence. If I'm in this place,
under what law is that?
First and foremost, Section 24, subsection E of the Constitution say you're under obligation to assist the lawful agencies to maintain law and order. If anybody breaks into this house and wants to harm the beautiful Magbe, and I have very powerful weapon, I will bring the person down, and I will not be criminally liable. Because Section 33 said I have the right to bring him down to protect your life. But that's by the way. Section 33
Yemi is the lady, right?
so
Tracy.
Anybody who wants to perform civilian coup. Tinubu just arrested some military people and say they plan a coup against him. That's military coup. When you rig election, that's civilian coup. Because you want to subvert the will of the people. And people have the right to use reasonable force. And I mark my word, when you want to commit crime in their presence.
It's a reasonable force.
Yes.
What would that be?
If I give you a slap to reset your brain, because they say anybody that enters APC, his brain stops working. So if I give you a slap to reset your brain, Supreme Court has said that a slap given to a man, there is no intention that grievous harm will be, hit on him. So that's reasonable force. So reasonable force depends on the offense, the level of the offense that you have committed. If it's reasonable offense, I have the right to use reasonable force on you, even if it leads to your death. I'm not criminally liable. Like if somebody wants to kill somebody, and I use reasonable force to stop him, even if the person died, that's his own problem. But if somebody wants to pick my phone or something, and you want to kill the person, so it depends on what the person wants to do. Now, that's by the way. Now, let's go to the Electoral Act. This new provision cuts the time that they will give money to INEC. So 6 months. And it used to be 1 year in the former act. When it was 1 year, INEC still has problem with logistics in elections. You can imagine when it is 6 months. When will this institution prepare? There are things you need to print. There are a whole lot of things that you need to do. Have they not worsened the case? They have worsened it. Why? Because Tinubu does not know how to implement budgets. 2024, 2025, 2026 budgets, none of them has been implemented. The Minister of Health told you that he asked for billions and has received only 36 million in 2025 budget. So what are we saying? INEC now that ought to have received this money by January, budget that ought to have been ready by Constitution by December, they are still debating it by March. What a tragedy of a government. Now, let's go into the Electoral Act. You have seen how APC said indirect primary, they removed it. Why? Direct primary is there. If direct primary is what you want, then you choose direct primary. Why instruct all parties to do direct primary or consensus? Where APC has ever done direct primary, crisis had broken out. In Lagos State, in the local government election, you saw the crisis. 3 persons died in Ondo State in the World Congress. So a recipe for disaster, they want to impose it on the opposition. Why remove indirect primary? Indirect primary is still...
Tracy, is she fair skinned? She has very nice dreadlocks. I want to know, please.
An election where all members are involved. You vote for the delegates that will represent you people, all the members in the world. Vote for the delegate that will represent them at the national level and choose the candidates. Why remove it? Let me tell you, APC is an evil government that wants to destroy Nigeria, but God will not agree. All this intention is to destroy the opposition. The other.
You have just said that.
Yes, just one more point. Just one more point.
Okay.
They said in a month's time, every party should submit digitalized membership. The same APC that is telling you INEC cannot transmit results because of network is asking opposition parties to send digitalized. So they know that we can digitalize electronic.
Exactly.
And INEC that did not ask for you to give them the discretion, you are giving it to them. Let me point out one thing. If anything happens to our election, I'm going to hold Josh and Mepito and INEC responsible. Because by law, they have the independence to choose whatever they want to do the election. Jega introduced card reader. It was not stated in the law, but there's nothing illegal about it. Yakub introduced IRF portal. It was not stated in the law. There was nothing illegal about it. INEC is the sole organization that conducts, supervises, and undertakes election. So they should not give any reason, even if there was no provision for electronic transmission. They still ought to give us free and fair election.
I remember her. I was just checking just to make sure it's not a difference.
Josh and Mopito because it's an integrity issue more than even legal issues. Responsible. No
I think I found hers towards
Indeed,
the end.
And that's why a number of people will think that by now the pressure will be, from opposition parties will be on INEC because, as you mentioned, there was an uproar within the National Assembly. You mentioned how at least the House of Representatives had given and made transmission of election results, electronic transmission compulsory.
And the Senate?
The Senate, as a matter of fact, you said, and I think the Senate President reiterated, yes, the Senate did say that they were leaving it as is in the 2022 election.
That's when they came back.
Yes, until, there was an uproar, and then they adjusted and then put that proviso. And then it was when there was supposed to be a merger, what they call that, harmonization, that we now saw that it would seem that it was the House of Representatives that had to give room Even though they said the harmonization committee never really met, but what we now saw at the end of the day, because well, they explained that there was a repeal. I'm not a lawyer. I do not know what these processes are, but they said there was a repeal, and then there was a reenactment, and that there was no need for harmonization. But what we now
the woman who spoke Adire, blue Adire, right?
It was like taking an element from this House of Representatives, mandatory election transmission, but then that now very controversial proviso. But that has since passed from what we saw, and it would seem like it was
okay, I'll just start from her.
It will seem.
Thank you.
A compromise between what the Senate and the House of Representatives had passed. That's what it would seem. It would seem that at the time, even though yes, there was some opposition, will I say resistance to it, because we saw members of the opposition walk out in the National Assembly, in the House of Representatives. We also saw the rockers
and addressed the issue as only.
Yes, we saw that. But at the end of the day, we also know that voting is about numbers. If you're going to pass something, you need the numbers, no matter what the protest is. If you don't get the numbers, it's as good as dead on arrival. So we saw that happen in the National Assembly, and we thought, the opposition seemed to have raised his hands, in acceptance of what had happened. Anyway, that went on, and we didn't hear much again until the FCT elections were conducted, and we assumed that given what we now knew, that there should be attention paid to how the elections were conducted in the FCT. Apart from the fact that there were, late deployment of materials in some polling units.
Everything was wrong.
And then, allegations of vote buying here and there, and, there were visuals to that, and there were arrests made in that regard. We haven't really heard much about the process. What was faulty in the process as adopted by INEC? The opposition doesn't seem to have been able to hit the nail on the head with regards to the objections.
Don't mind them, Tracy.
That's why I'm telling
all these English speaking people.
That it is APC's strategy.
Beg.
You're just waking up from FCT election and they are telling you you're going to submit digitalized membership in a month's time. The FCT election has already been concluded a sham. I told you it was conducted under an unknown law. I am not saying under an illegal law. I'm saying under an unknown law.
Because the law has not been gazetted.
I've not seen it. Have you seen it? And it's against the rule of law because it must be publicly published. And international protocol said 6 months before any election, you have to publish the law so that everybody will know the law you're going into. And this National Assembly promulgated the law on the 17th, and Tinubu rushed to sign it when he has not even read what is in it because he said it gives him headache. Then on the 18th of February, and the election is 3 days. You signed it on maybe on Wednesday. You have only Thursday, because on Friday they will stop all the broadcast because you have to stop broadcast 24 hours at a time. Then on Saturday, Wike said there is restriction of movement. Almost 24 hours, 8 p.m. before that day. And on that day, he was walking around all the polling units interfering in the election, which was illegal. Because if you say restriction of movement, it should also affect you. It's not an elected officer. It is not an INEC officer. It's not connected with the election in any way. The security on election day is under the direction of INEC. In UK, remember, when Prime Minister Boris Johnson ordered the restriction of movement during the COVID-19 era, he himself moved and even celebrated party. It was one of the reasons he was told to step down. Recall that Governor Baseke was disallowed from entering into INEC places during the election. A sitting governor has immunity. And Wike, who gave the order, couldn't even respect the order he gave. And was going from polling unit to polling unit, interfering in the election. This APC is irresponsible. Even by their own laws, they can't keep. Now, let me proceed. You know about the mutilated results in some areas. You know about the violence in some areas. At the end of the day, what were you expecting? There was voter intimidation, voter buying, voter apathy in Amak, You have around 873,000 registered voters. About 65,000 voted. 7.7% turnout. Because they restricted movement. So this election was skewed against the opposition.
Which it
so
does
that
not...
the ruling APC will walk away with it. But you know what?
Mr. Okonkwo, I'm just, whilst I'm not, these are all the extraneous, it would seem, factors.
No, it's not extraneous.
No, just a moment. These are not about the polls themselves. If you get what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't get it.
This is not within the power of INEC. So it was seen. I mean, all of these restrictions that was not within.
That's why I didn't mention INEC.
But largely,
I mentioned APC.
The issues that have been raised about the objections that the opposition has with the Electoral Act has to do largely with INEC. You've talked about direct and indirect primaries, their restrictions. You've talked about the 6 months that, INEC should now get its funds. That is about INEC. You've talked about the register that, you're being made to submit now an e-register. That also seems to be INEC, because INEC is the regulatory body.
No.
But in terms of the conduct of the 2026 FCT Council polls, all the objections that have been raised are around the conduct. And INEC always says this, that it is a multi-stakeholder event, and that they are the lead stakeholder, but they are not the only stakeholder, and that all of these other factors. So do you think that right now, given what we have experienced in the FCT Council polls, the opposition parties have been barking up the wrong tree?
No.
Okay. Can I tell you something real quick? It's about your car accident. Yeah, yours.
Sometimes I wonder about these Nigerian journalists. They ask questions like they don't live in Nigeria. It's so frustrating listening to these people.
APC machination to rig election 2027. You can't hold INEC.
The same, oh.
So when it comes to the primaries of political parties, you can't hold INEC responsible. It's not INEC's duty. If you recall what I said I will hold Josh and Mepoton responsible for whatever happens in 2027 election. I did not say primaries. I told you, look at what APC is doing. They removed direct primary from the law. I'm holding it responsible.
Indirect primary.
They removed indirect primary from the law. That's APC's imagination. It has nothing to do with INEC.
Yeah, but we also saw, this issue about direct and indirect, we also saw just how corrupt that process used to be.
Which one?
The indirect primaries. The fact that we know that delegates used to make a killing from indirect primaries. The fact that we knew it was cash out season for delegates, who have been elected, they have been elected, but we also know how easily influenced a few delegates can be by candidates that have deep pockets. Don't you think that this has been done in the interest? This is just because I remember there was a time when there was huge focus on the type of primaries, and I remember there was a time, not this particular elections or not this electoral act, there was a time when there was a lot of clamor for direct primaries to be the only way that candidates emerge. We had direct primaries or consensus. There was a huge clamor for for political parties to do away with direct primaries. In some way, don't you think that they might have done Nigeria a favor?
Oh, well, you have been a journalist for a while now.
Indeed.
I've never seen anybody sit in this seat and is clamoring that indirect should be removed.
Oh, there was a time. There was a time when that happened.
I said, I have not seen, but you can give evidence of that. What they were clamoring then is that there should be options, not that anyone will be removed. In indirect primary, at least you will see an indirect primary. Indirect primary, you will not see anything.
Afola, welcome.
Nigeria, where people will be lined up and you're hearing 200, 300, 400. That is what direct primary looks like. So you're saying deep pockets. I know of somebody that spent $30,000 per candidate and still failed in indirect primary. Indirect primary, Tinubu will be in his house and write the results and tell you that is what all the members voted for.
Bam.
Where do you have the register of members?
Bam.
Where did they meet? Where will you start to go to court if you are a participant? Are you able to assemble all the people that voted throughout the 36 states of the federation? So direct primary means that there will be no primary. Indirect primary means there's a possibility there could be primary for how we are today. So that is why you have to leave the options. In all the places you have direct primary, it has ended in fiasco. All. So is either consensus or indirect primary or direct primary. We're not saying you should remove direct primary. We're saying you should leave the choice. Even the courts admitted that they don't have power to inquire into the internal affairs of political party. So why is APC intruding into the internal affairs of political parties?
Won't there be victims as well? Because
no, there will be victims as well. Take my words for it. That's why I say a lot of them are very unintelligent.
Do you think this
by the time they sit down and write those delegates and write the candidates, there will be trouble. That is why they pushed and reduced the time by law when you will submit candidates, so it will be closer to the election. So by the time they do all their corruption, those people that will be maltreated will not have the time to go to another party and become candidates there. But I tell you, there is still God that ruleth the affairs of men.
Yes.
And he will judge this APC. And in
Mr. Bigweze, hold on, no, we are still playing this video.
They will collapse.
Not a problem. I just want to let you know that.
Okay.
Over to you.
Well, thank you, first.
Hey! You see, when I hear it, Kenetoko talk.
I listen to you.
Yeah.
People will probably wonder, isn't this?
They are intentionally delaying it to the end. I know. We know this.
Creating a lacuna for the opposition to say, look, we didn't have enough time. Pretty much creating the narrative that this whole election was skewed against the opposition in the first
Absolutely.
place, as opposed to preparing.
That's what it is. Oga journalist.
For the election. You said it the other time, or was it you, or maybe our previous program? I was saying that there are some parties that are fully ready, and there are some that are not ready. The issue that you raised, for instance, of the digital register of members, that is a crucial one. And I'm wondering if you think all political parties are ready with that one as we speak. Because right now, with all the issues that you have raised, we shouted PDP when the was at the center, but we don't mention the state governors. We are now shouting the APC when the APC is at the center, but no one is talking about the state government. So isn't this a way of saying, look, opposition, this is the fuel you need to protest whatever the results of the elections will be?
So wait, what's the catch? That's what most people ask when they hear about SMUD's brand new home battery incentive.
Because getting paid up to $8,000.
Well, you know, like I told you, APC wants to block all breathing space for the opposition so that they will think the opposition.
Yep.
You know how they infiltrated all parties. What destroyed PDP, for instance, is the presidential ambition of Tinubu. Nothing else. So they want to emasculate the opposition parties, and you can see that they made it now a law. So what you're seeing is conscious effort of a party that is unpopular, that knows it will lose if he allows free, fair, and credible election. So they now want to use institutionalized method to rig the election before even the day of election. I told you here when I came in, I said, look, don't judge us by FCT municipal election. But they would have at least organized free, fair, and credible election to give people hope. Because the whole reason for the apathy of Nigerians is because they don't believe that even if they come out, their votes will count. That is why people must do the right thing. So, opposition, they want to snuff us out of the electoral process, and we are gasping for breath. But I tell you, we will win. So the issue is that APC started their digitalized registration almost last year. And they now came to make it a law and say a month for parties Some parties were registered just last month, registered for the first time. And then you're giving them this Herculean task that you could not even INEC that you will give 400 billion naira. You're telling INEC, no, you cannot transmit. INEC is saying, no, we can't. We have the capacity. You heard Josh Amupito. We have the capacity. And you're telling INEC, you that don't know anything in INEC. And then you're telling parties they must digitalize before 1 month. Can't you see? It is obvious. This is fraud. Yep. This is capture. They want to capture the election before it happens. Yep. So what I'm telling you is, what we are asking for is time. You cannot give such new thing. You have not even published the law. And you're saying people should do something before 1 month. The law is not gazetted. The law is not out. So what we are even doing is being proactive. That was why I told Mahmud, no, your position, this is the most viral opposition since the birth of democracy. Because you are fighting without even having the equipment. Because this APC wants to defraud the system. Pure state capture, election capture, through default, through ensuring that they corrupt the process. So I understand.
This
we are doing our best.
Yeah, Mr. Goko, if you can hear me.
We can do.
Yeah, this same thing you're saying is what we always say about ruling parties. The PDP, we said exactly the same thing you're saying now, and yet at the appropriate, or should I say at an opportune time, despite having so many governors, as you know, a number of people in the opposition have also said, the PDP lost an election, a general election, the presidential election at that. So having the number of governors and all these issues that you have raised, there are those who will tell you, look, it doesn't really still guarantee anything. At the end of the day, it is expected to be the people. So I go back to the issues. First of all, do you think political parties themselves were prepared for the general election, for the 2023 elections, before this electoral act? Because even if we were to sustain the Electoral Act of 2022, do you think the political parties are prepared? Because many people don't hear about these opposition parties saying anything constructive until an election is impending. So why should Nigerians trust an opposition party that they don't hear of until it's 1 year to an election?
I used to say, if I hear AI one more time, I'm going to lose it. But Monday.com is super easy to use and knows.
All right. Ayo, if you noticed, I did not mention anything about the governors. Because with respect to you, the governors have no role to play at all when it comes to the issue of election. That is why you see most governors running into APC. Because they want just self-preservation. Not that they have anything as in love with APC. As long as election is concerned, INEC is a federal executive body. And the laws that guide INEC's activities made by National Assembly, none by the State Assembly. So the governors have no blame. They have nothing to do. They are just like other Nigerians who are more powerful than others and can use the instrumentality of the state if they have the buy-in of the federal government. Exactly. That is the reason why they are going into APC, so that they don't want somebody to use federal might against them. That's why it's irrelevant to talk about the governors. Maybe you should say you are not hearing from the opposition, because the opposition is saying something every day and giving constructive advice. Immediately Tinubu came in, he removed subsidy. Within 24 hours, opposition, including myself, we were saying this is a wrong policy because it's coming at the wrong time, not that removing subsidy is not necessary. I said this government will not sustain it. I said what you need before you remove subsidy is we need to have regular supply and there will be no monopoly. If you do that, you remove the subsidy. And I said you should sell off the refineries. We gave all these recommendations. Tinubu did not sell off the refineries. He invested billions on the refineries. They have gone down the drains. So you cannot advise a deaf and dumb government because they don't hear. And you cannot say the opposition is not offering constructive criticism because the government in power that is deaf do not hear. and they are dumb. They tell only lies. So the opposition has been offering constructive criticism. Give me one thing, one policy that this government has done, and I will tell you the position of the opposition on it. So please, it is because the government is deaf and dumb. So I the criticism where it belongs. The opposition is doing well, but this government is perverse. And the only thing is to remove them completely and let them not come back in the name of Jesus.
In the following days, we certainly will be keeping tabs with the opposition to see how they eventually fare and organize and prepare an alternative platform for the Nigerian people, presenting themselves as a credible alternative to the current party in power. But in the meantime, we have to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is a member of the National Working Committee.
Mr. Obiboeze, welcome. You have the floor. You have something to contribute before I move to other videos.
Yeah, good evening, Omoye.
Good evening, welcome.
And everybody. Yeah. I heard when you were telling somebody not to, say, we can do it, I say, I watched the people's, the citizens, active citizens, during the one show anchored, and you need to, if you watch that, you need to know what is going to happen in that election, and I listen to Aisha Yusuf, that statement they are making, they need to change it. Anybody that is telling you and me, in my own opinion, right, that if massive people go to the to vote, they will not rig the election. They're just deceiving you and I. And I will give you reasons why I think so. The first reason is this. Remember, I mentioned to you, and thank God this video you just played echoed the same thing. Last time we spoke about this, I told you that I mentioned it in this platform that if they can allow a sitting governor who has his own security to get into... Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I have to mute so that people can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So when a governor cannot be able to go into the collation room, yeah, is it you or me or the agent? You were there. They flush all the agent, flush everybody out. So as long as this electoral act says you fall back to this, you and I know that there will be a no network. They are ready to shut it down nationwide, and nobody will ask, because they know we are zombies. Most of us are zombies. Nobody is going to ask questions. It still pains me to date that you gave somebody 400 billion to conduct an election and something happened, or even nothing happened, and the person never come back, to give us accounts of how they use that money and everything that happened within that election. You see it happening where you live it. I see it happen where I live it. After election, they sit down and tell everybody what they did and how they did it. So, why am I saying this? The only prayer this government, this political party is praying, is let there be nothing that will make Nigerians spark before the election. I keep emphasizing on this. Anybody who is telling you and me that after election, they're going to hold these people accountable, they're going to make noise on the street, is just deceiving you and I. Because nobody in this world will support that. After election, if you lose, they tell you to wait for the next 4 years. It doesn't matter how. And that's why people like me is emphasizing that the only way to deal with this situation is to first make INEC to be the person that will come and defend the election they conducted. You cannot write an exam and I will come and do that exam for you. No, it's not possible. So I listened to the engineer who designed the beavers. When I listen to that man, I know Nigeria is in trouble. Because he couldn't even call it wholeheartedly what happened. Why did it happen? Because when they said there was a glitch, he was the one that designed that. He was the one that was mounting that, did all the testing election. Few days before that last general election, he was transferred. He got angry and retired. So I watched him, spoke on that, and somebody asking me of that. He doesn't want to speak about it. For you to know how dangerous Nigeria is. And I heard you, Omoye, saying last time, or Nigerian journalist, they say once the journalists shape any idea, that is it. Forget about social media. People can say all they want in social media. It's for the consumption of Nigerians. But to the outside world, why was the outside world not knowing what was happening in Nigeria until Donald Trump tweeted? Why? Have we not asked ourselves that question?
Yeah, okay. So let's say because I want to play this next video, Mr. Obibuize. So let me just quickly respond to you and then we'll listen to this video and then we'll come back to. So here's the thing.
Not a problem.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Because from what you're saying, it seems like a hopeless situation, right? If the INEC does not do what they're supposed to do. Now, there are people who have been talking about revolution. Don't you think that this provides a unique opportunity for those people who claim that their call is for revolution to swoop in and carry out the revolution? Because
do you mind me to respond to this?
We can't fold our hands.
Do you mind me to respond to that?
Yeah, respond to it really quickly, though.
Okay. I'm a follower of Dele Farotimi, and there's an article he put out. Anybody can go there and check on it, download it, read it, and everything. Because the way he's planning, whatever he's planning, man, is class. I just want to use this opportunity for the listeners. There's one program he did yesterday. He set out everything there. That's on Sunday.
Okay,
because
Sunday,
always
I forgot
on every Sunday.
Yeah.
It was superlative yesterday.
Okay, I'm going to listen to it.
People should go and read that. Even I was saying, if I come on this, I remember one time one person was talking about revolution on your show, right? I was saying, I'm going to tell you to remind the person they should go and join Dele Farotimi because his ideas are out of this world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I thank you very much for bringing up with Dele Farotimi. If we have time, maybe we'll even listen to that so we can hear. Because, yeah, I'm all for what's going to move this country forward. Let's see. Sorry.
Who you are, what must happen before 2027 from your own experience, practically speaking, field work now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sheung. I believe that the National Assembly, my colleagues in the National Assembly, have served Nigerians a law that has left all of us in a quandary. I believe that the job of the legislature is to collate the aggregate opinion of a critical mass of the Nigerian people, and clearly that's not what happened with this law.
The House of Representatives, to which I belong, passed the right law and turned around and did a volte-face, and I'm still concerned about what could have transpired with that. Now, what has happened is that here we are, stuck with a piece of legislation that leaves Nigerians bruised, concerned, and of course the burden has been passed to INEC. Okay, so I believe that ahead of that, in the words of Kofi Annan, he says that democracy is too important to be left to politicians. And so I believe that it must be an all of society engagement. And I think that ahead of 2027, there are certain people that I have penned down that should be the critical stakeholders in what happens ahead of 2027. Even if, and I know that people are still optimistic that there may be an amendment, I am not that optimistic, but in the event that there is an optimistic an amendment, it will be absolutely wonderful, but in the event that there is not, we have to deal with making the lemonade out of the lemon that my colleagues at the National Assembly have served us. So I put down 5 critical stakeholders: INEC, the judiciary, civil society, media, security agencies, political parties, and I left the best for the last, the citizens. With regards to INEC, everybody has spoken about everything that INEC should do. They should do the technological appraisal. They should do a fire drill on logistics. They should know that they shall be held accountable. But I think one thing that is very important, and we never really talk about it, and everybody speaks about security agencies, is that for these elections to be truly inclusive, every time us politicians speak about 26 years of unbroken democracy, somehow we forget the security agencies who provide the space that makes it safe for us to run in this election. Now, I ask myself the question, why are the security agencies partisan? Because they do not feel that they have a stake. Most security agencies have never, in 8 election cycles, have never voted in any election. And that is because they're essential services. They're posted away from where they register, therefore they do not feel that they're a critical stakeholder in the electoral processes. In other countries, in Ghana and across the continent, there's something known as early voting, where they give them the opportunity to vote ahead of everybody so that they feel that they are indeed a part of the electoral process. I think something that INEC needs to look at so that the security agencies don't feel that it is us against them, but they feel that they're a critical part of the Nigerian electoral process, and therefore we must include them in the election.
That makes sense.
Do you want to know where to
In a
invest
working
$1,000
country, a
right
country
now?
that makes sense. Yeah.
Goldman Sachs says that Elon Musk.
Second of all, and of course, without prejudice to everything that has been said about INEC, I also think that INEC has spoken about glitches, and INEC has spoken about hacking, or my colleagues in the National Assembly hacking. I think that we must look at the infrastructure around INEC as critical infrastructure in the same way as we look at oil installations. So that if it is going to be put in the cyber crimes law or whatever law, I think INEC will do very well to send a piece of legislation to the National Assembly to look at the way in which they protect the IREM and whatever it is, so that the arguments on hacking no longer rear their ugly heads when we're having conversations about protecting INEC. Now I'll go to the judiciary. And Antiobi here spoke about low voter turnout. Now, of course, everybody has spoken about, and I wish the APC chairman was here. But the greatest problem that most of the political parties have, and why everybody seems to be cross-carpeting to the APC, is not necessarily because they think that the APC is better run, nor do they think that the policies of the APC are good. It is because most of the other political parties are embroiled in litigation, and therefore people within the political parties do not feel that they will have expression in that political party, in those political parties. Now, this is aside from the fact that there is a Supreme Court judgment that says that political parties must have the opportunity to, that the courts don't have the mandate to adjudicate on issues of political parties. They should not speak about who's supposed to be the chairman of the party and so on and so forth. But what has happened, and the scariest case before a court today is the one that where they're attempting to deregister the ADC. Now, what that has done is that the people within those political parties don't have the confidence to sit within those political parties, and so you find that politicians are starting to migrate to all the other political parties. I believe that when one looks at what happened in the United States with the Supreme Court, and they protected their democracy, that the judiciary in Nigeria is a critical stakeholder in protecting our democracy, and therefore the judiciary must do everything to dispense with all the cases so that the political parties, the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party, the ADC, and so on and so forth, now can have the confidence of the citizens. Of course, the civil society.
That's true. They have a hearing to deregister ADC. That's
about moving from the military to the to civil rule, and there's this whole debate about whether it's civil rule or whether it's democracy. But everybody who has done that, every time civil society comes out and speaks about the central role that they played in that. Now, today, what we find, and every time I engage with people who are of civil society, I ask them, was this the democracy that we envisaged? If you have birthed a child and the child is running rogue on you, then it is the responsibility of civil society to whip that child into line. I've always made the point that if the civil society could bend soldiers with absolute power and wrest power from them, then why can't they be more alive to their responsibilities? And they are doing a lot, but I would like them to do even more in trying to whip civilians whose only gun is weaponizing institutions that are supposed to protect our democracy.
Sorry, apologies.
You've been in a car accident? Sit down, take a breath, and for the love of your bank account, don't call your insurance yet. Give me 60...
Mr. Andrew Mahmud, it's your time. Okay.
Let me go straight to, I want to go straight to the lady that spoke, because I have...
So we trust our politicians, we trust INEC.
I not trust anybody.
Political parties.
Talk your own.
Time and time again, we...
It's trust in a system. And INEC, Professor Mubison, you have Mr. Balogun, please, if you let him listen, please. Mr. Professor Mubison, you have a lot of... I'll say two things. So voter participation, all-time low. The only way to build that back is trust in a system. And INEC, Professor Mubison, you have Mr. Balogun, please, if you let him listen, please. Mr. Professor Mubison, you have a lot of role to play in building that trust. Because given where we are, you then came up when you spoke, and as someone said, you laid out a lot more about the issue. First of all, we have an electoral act that I'm not sure you have seen, but none of us in this room have seen the signed copy. You've seen the signed copy. Fantastic. Now, it's not public. So we're talking about, sorry? I should apply for the electoral act.
Apply.
Sorry. Now, the chairman of the House should be gazetted. Exactly. Public. Now, this is, sorry, so we don't lose my time. This is very, very symbolic of what we're talking about. Where a sitting member of the House of Representatives, that's chairman of the Electoral Committee, is telling citizens in a room that we should, no, and I'm talking as a citizen. And exactly, Prof is correcting you precisely, thank you, Prof.
The public document.
So if we're sitting here and a member of the House of Representatives that was elected to represent a constituency, i.e. citizens like me, is telling me I have to apply for a law that's going to determine how I participate in an election to choose people like you, it speaks to Antiobi's point that if the legislators are the ones that we're expecting to make this thing make sense, this is what we see. Moving from Mr. Balogun, I'll go back to Professor Mokison. And this shows why this is a challenge. And I hope you understand it. You have a copy as a regulator. But the person who we elected, and we're paying their salary to represent us in the National Assembly, is telling us we have to apply for it. So the conversation that we've had here is being based on drafts that we've seen. Now, part of the challenge, and the we have time, there's still a lot of errors. And I'm not sure if you've gone through it. And you'll notice that there are things from typos to the point that Dr. Amadi made about delegates, if a political office holder wants. So there is still time to amend those things. And in addition to that, because there was speed, because the normal process will be before the president signs it, you should have had a copy to read. So you could have marked off all those errors and say, oh, before you sign it, this contradicts this contradicts this. But we were in a hurry to sign a bill to an end, right? Anyway, going back to this point. So that since we have time to edit these errors, the point about real-time transmission, again, in your explanation of it, sir, your sense of it is very different from our sense of the understanding of what that means. All we are saying about real-time is that once you are done, you send it. And as the point that you made, the copy is still on the BVAS anyway. So while citizens want to see the IRS because it allows us to feel a part of the process and ensure it's transparent, for the purposes of collation at the ward, because the picture is still on the BVAS, that can be used to verify if anything has happened in the case. So if we understand the intent of what citizens want, we simply want to make sure that there's a transparent process from the picture that is taken at the polling unit to what is then used as collation. That is the problem we need to be solving for. So if you are telling us that the proviso that the legislators have put that if technology fails is not a problem, and you then issue a guideline that explains this in clear terms and everybody understands, and then we get to the Supreme Court again, and they tell us that because it was not in the act, it doesn't count. So let's take the time now, with INEC's help, and the help of citizens, and the help of opposition parties, to get this thing done. We can do it.
Hey!
469 of them, including Mr. Balogun. Some of them are allies, and they've stated clearly what their position is, like Senator Omoye. And so there are not that many of them that we cannot engage as citizens to let them understand very clearly that we're setting ourselves up for failure in the 2023 election. Professor Mahmud, you have 10 months, not a year. You have 10 months for this general election. And it would be in your interest and in the interest of Nigeria, in Africa's largest democracy, of which we're spending more money than any other country on the continent to do elections, to actually deliver elections that make sense. I hope I'm communicating to President. It's critical, and I hope you will.
I like this woman.
To ensure that we can amend this act so it actually makes sense for Nigeria.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jack Philip.
So wait, what's the catch?
Omo, I like that too. That's how you talk to them. That's the only way they will hear.
Paid up to $8,000 up front.
Okay, let's go to. I want to quickly take us to Daily Faro to me because I actually completely forgot about that. I said I was going to follow up. I'm glad that.
Mr. Omoye,
Yes.
let me say something before I go where I network with troublemakers.
Yeah.
You see, the last woman that spoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was able to speak in that manner because she has gotten a beating from these people. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
What do you mean beating?
You see,
beating how?
You know, she was the one who went to lay flowers to the NSAS this thing. Yeah. So she knows the reality.
Yeah.
You know, she has faced the reality, so she was able to speak in that manner.
Yeah.
You know, one last thing I want to contribute before I go is this. I listened to Professor Aworowo, right? And he said that ADC, right? You see this ADC, everybody's... Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see this ADC, all of us are having hope that they are there to save us. Professor Awolowo said, all these complaints they are laying, they are just deceiving themselves. You know why? He said they know what to do and the election will be over. Once they do that right now, right? The election will be over before it started.
Of course.
And guess what he didn't mention that what they would have done, but that is the zoning of their candidates.
Yep.
Because they asked them they asked him the question of the political parties which are complaining, and they said, listen, yes, he acknowledged that APC did their job on them there, but rather than stay there and complain, they should do the right thing. And the right thing, I assume, his thinking is zoning that to the south, and every other thing will be over.
Absolutely.
So, these people are not sincere. And that's why I don't trust them. I never put my hope in ADC. Because if they want to do that today, let's say we zone this to the... I'm just using the word zone, but the way he spoke, right? The way he spoke, he was just saying, he was just thinking, if you give Obi the ticket today, it's over. It's over. If you give Obi the ticket today, all these noises we are hearing will be over, because they can do it as consensus, right? Once they say, this is our candidate today, there's no way for APC. See, their tune will change. They will start singing a different song. So, why am I saying this? They are not sincere with you and I. And the earlier we notice this, the better for us. Because if they want to shut out these people, let them zone this. Say, okay, let the South grab this. Then APC will know truly there is an opposition. But as it is going now, APC don't see anybody to stop them, because it's easier for them. And if care is not taken, no any other party, apart from all these dead parties, will present candidate in this election. I'm seeing it going that way because of this shortage of time. And why they did that is they knew they were thinking that Obi is not going to get that ticket, so there will be no time for him to enter another party to do another this thing. So Nigerians, we need to open our eyes and start thinking, because what these people are doing now, there's nothing in it. There's absolutely nothing the ADC are doing that I support, or I think they are doing the right thing, until they said, listen, this is our candidate. This is our candidate. And that's the only thing that is going to solve the problem. Because as it is now, these people, I listened to so many of these people who spoke on that citizens, I forgot what they call it, and most of them were saying, look, the only way is electronic transmission. And the professor who is going to conduct that election has already told you that he doesn't know the meaning of real time. So if he doesn't know the meaning of real time, then we are in trouble. We are seriously in trouble. So I ask all Nigerians, everybody should start thinking, who support ADC should start telling them to make their mind up and tell us which direction we're going. That's the only way we're going to succeed in this. Let that be a starting point. But anything short of that, I'm sorry. I don't trust them. Yeah. And I think this is where I'm going to let it be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bibweze. Thank you. All right. We're going to deal with Dele Farotimi's video tomorrow. It's about 50 minutes long. Hopefully I remember. And then we'll bring it and analyze. Let's listen. Do you know they did not give Peter Aka the mic? They did not give him the mic. He was there. They don't give a mic. Hold on. Mona, listen by herself.
So we just finished a town hall on electoral reform so that Nigerians will come together and talk how we will move forward with this electoral act, because it is not the end. We must go back and revisit it to be amended. I don't raise my hand, not that how many times they don't reach so that they will take the question. I don't know what's in the arrangement, but waiting in my mind, we must talk because I don't put them out. The chairman cannot come out here because it is horrible and it is terrifying to me that for the whole conversation, the only two people who agree that this electoral is okay is APC and INEC. Every other person insists that this electoral bill needs to be amended, but somehow the only two people that agree that we should conduct election with this electoral act is APC and INEC. Is there something that APC and INEC knows that Nigerians do not know? The INEC chairman made a statement and said that because during Abuja election, some polling units around Kuje, they could not call their staff. Professor Amupiton, there is no reason why you should not be able to reach your staff. If you are not on social media, ask your children. Terrorists on social media are able to call people from the forest. There is no polling unit in the forest. We want to know exactly the 200 billion INEC mark for electronic technology. Which technology are they procuring? What will it cost INEC to have technology in the 177,000 or so polling units? If we can depend up to 200 or something trillion to protect power lines, oil pipelines, why can we not protect INEC technological system? Because we must ensure that that is taken as a critical national asset. That server, we want to be able to protect it. And then the House Committee chairman on electoral reform, where they talk, say that, oh, now real time may not be possible, real time. The House Committee chairman, at what point did you people in the House of Reps realize that your version, which you had passed with real time electronic transmission, at what point did you realize that it was not okay and you needed to go back to go and adopt the Senate version that had the proviso? Nigerians, as it is today, now only Nigerians be the difference between we and a free and fair election. This current INEC is heading towards becoming worse than Mahmud. The glitch is how they talk. So INEC chairman, they talk, say by the grace of God, there will be no glitches. Grace of God after collecting almost 1 trillion. Professor Mupiton, grace of God after receiving 873 billion. No, not lie. We cannot leave it to grace of God. God don't do work. This one now, everything we are not going to court. Everything must end in the polling unit. Nigerians, we must go back to National Assembly. That section 60 subsection 3 must be amended. No provisos, electronic transmission of results is possible. Everybody don't talk out. The only people against it is INEC and APC. What exactly is the problem? Who is afraid of free and fair election? My name is Peter for Nigeria. Everybody there here, Mama P there here, they say hello. Hello. Trenches, Justice Clark, they for here. The thing they need to know, they go know and they go here. And Nigerians, they want to read. They cannot read through millions of people. We must go back to National Assembly and mobilize because this act is a document of criminality.
Shebi una don hear. Okay. Una don hear am, abi una never hear am. Okay. I for like play wetin Dele Farotimi talk. Make I see whether I fit go to the essential parts. Because you know, say the first break parable, go break parable, then you can't go inside the real meat. Hold on.
I'm commenting on it because what happened to him is the real.
Let me see if I can speed it up. Let me speed it up. Because this is very important. Damn, I forgot it was yesterday, man. Shoot.
Please free Abdul Mahmud. It does not make sense.
Abdul Mahmud, yes. Too high a price.
You're looking to crystallize.
Yes.
Free Abdul Mahmud.
Oh, yes.
About that. There are 1,001 in prison.
Hey.
And one can't speak for all those who are in prison.
Let me see. Free Abdul Mahmud. Let me edit my topic.
There's a public persona, and we can speak to his integrity and humanity.
Yes.
He has paid way too high the price.
Since 1999. Are you kidding?
Extension. Was in prison in our youth. Variously injured, wounded, he bled for this thing we call democracy today.
I'm telling you.
And the circumstances of his incarceration should shame everybody who calls themselves ministers of justice and servants in the temple of injustice in Nigeria. It stinks. It stinks. Please, do the needful. Okay. Look, I've always counseled that everything that when we react, because all these ones might be the reaction at best. There will be others who will react in stronger terms and perhaps with stronger actions, but they're still reactions. Reactions, that's nothing in Nigeria. We must come to the understanding of the fact that our system is designed to work exactly as it is working. And if the truth be told, we should treat what we are saying as windows into the way the system is meant to work. So take it for what it is and let's just understand that this is what the system is. But that wasn't the only window the system has opened in recent time. Peter Obi was almost killed in Edo State, I believe in Benin. This is probably the first time I'm commenting on it because what happened to him is the reality of the everyday Nigerian. And a lot of the everyday Nigerian is even more brutal than that. But I'm speaking to it this morning so that you understand that these are the windows that the Nigerian state opens into the way that it operates. It's a shameful statement about the state of the Nigerian state. But again, like I said, everything we say in response to it or in reaction to it is meaningless or are meaningless until we come to the understanding of the fact that the system is functioning exactly as it is designed to function. In 2022, when I took the decision to back Peter Gregory Obi, and I was asked to speak for him, I did so fully understanding that those who would seek to invalidate the things I had been saying for years before there was a Peter Obi presidential project, those who would have demanded some ethno-religious reflexes from me would be unhappy and disappointed, but that was fine. A man had to stand behind his conviction, and I stood behind my conviction. And in the heat of that moment, a question was asked of me, and I answered in what I believe a lot of people mistook because of the partisan nature of the season. And it was when I was asked about the candidates, and I said that Peter Obi probably represented the last opportunity for a peaceful transition of power in Nigeria. I said so not because I believed that Peter Obi was revolutionary in his own vision, but he is revolutionary in character. And I believe that it would have been fairly easy for Nigeria to begin his journey. But it was also clear to me that a failure to travel that route was going to have consequences, and we're living with those consequences now. And what I did say at the time was that we're not likely to have a peaceful transition to a better Nigeria once we lost that opportunity. The system ensured that we lost that opportunity. But beyond reminding you, because it lays the foundation for the subject I'll be speaking to this morning, it is important that you be reminded, because it has gotten to a point where I begin to understand when it is said that if you do not blow your own trumpet, it's going to rot. Too many times, I find myself arguing with persons who really should have no business arguing with me. That is not born of arrogance, it is born of a steady stream of evidence where I had warned you all that something or the other was going to happen, and I sounded outlandish, but history has borne me out, and my words are proven to be true. And then you say it's prophetic. It's not prophetic, it's simply the truth being told. So that prophecy, quote and unquote, is merely the truth, and I will explain myself as we go on. Another issue that bears speaking to, and again I say, I speak to it simply to draw your attention to it, but I understand that everything is connected, is the spread of Islamist terrorism and Fulani terrorism into the southwestern part of Nigeria. For a long time, the war in northern Nigeria had seemed like something that happened to other people, something that happened, look here, in distant lands. But the evil that hung in the far north has become the lot of my people today. Kwara has been steadily overrun. Oyo State is not spared. I saw some people complaining in recent time that Afijio, which compared to, I think, Akimari, Fiditi, and Ilora, they feel what was Oyo somehow, but they've become killing fields for the Fulani Islamists.
Mashu.
And then some people were saying, no, they've entered Oyo State. They've been in Oyo State forever. Igbo, for whom Sunday is named, is in Oyo State. Sunday had been shouting about this for years. Your robbers are busy fighting for supremacy, but the people are being slaughtered. And you are being distracted. Ekiti State, Ondo State, robbers are being killed on their ancestors' throne. But your robbers are squabbling about who is the preeminent of the civil servants that the criminal system has installed on thrones. Now, as I have said already, all these are distractions, but they are real issues. They are distractions in the sense that these are not things that happen in isolation. They are things that are designed to happen within the system. And instead of you allowing yourselves to be distracted by these systemic distractions, semi-treated this. Some people will even go to the extent of doctoring tweets in order to achieve a predetermined narrative, a narrative that has nothing of our lives. The only thing it has to do is to distract. And we allow ourselves to be distracted. But that's very easy too, because there's no purpose to which the distracted person is directed. So that's normal, isn't it? Or people are drinking hypo bleach online. How does that take off the shackles?
I'm David Lichtenstein. I founded Lights.
Let me just say this. If you had gone to a church this morning, you would have had your praise worship leaders. And then somebody would have been there with the worship song when you're done with the praises. For those of us who not only went to Keruba and Seraph and other churches when we were younger, we also went to Fela in our younger days. And Fela would do pretty much what I just did in the last few minutes. He would call it peace. He would test his mic. He would say things that even though we're not couching the same sense I would have just done. It was designed to get you ready for the main thing, the message and the music. I have no music for you this morning, but we do have some pretty serious issues to deal with. And it's about 10 o'clock now. So let's just say that I have spoken to the week, or shall I say weeks that went by. But I've done so not to titillate or entertain you, but to prepare your mind for the message that I have to preach to you this morning. And it is indeed a message. It is a message. I think it was some years ago. I was speaking somewhere. It was on Arise TV. And I spoke about speaking into the womb of time. So I've come to learn that what we do with the word to speak, especially if they are the truth, we speak into the womb of time. So this morning, I welcome you to service. And today, I would like to speak to the womb of time once again. Perhaps maybe this generation, perhaps it might be another. But what is critical is the need to understand that the Nigeria in which we are living is dying, already dead. What you have is a zombie. A new country has to be birthed. Yep. I spoke to that last week. This week, my subject is titled The Revolutionary Pathway to a New Nigeria. Now, I'll give you a bit of background because what I'm doing this morning is that I'm giving you the outline of a book that is already in progress because it has to be the handbill for a revolution. Whether that revolution will happen in my own lifetime or when I'm long dead, I don't know. But it is something that must happen if Nigeria and those called Nigerians, if they may be saved and stopped from the fate that has been designed for all of us. So you tolerate me this morning. My thoughts may seem a little long, but you please tolerate it. Because when you live in a space like our own, where the word revolution has been bastardized by multiple persons, when it is used, it conjures up different images. So it is pretty critical. The key parts of what I want to speak to must be exhaustively defined so that ambiguities may not damage the intentions. Okay, so if I say the revolutionary pathway to a new Nigeria, then it is suggestive of the idea that I am saying that there is a Nigeria that I want changed. If I want a thing changed, it means that I'm unhappy with what exists. So I believe that in order to understand the sermon, we need to make some clear definitions. A new Nigeria. A new Nigeria is not a Nigeria. I'm not speaking to a Nigeria where a candidate wins an election and runs to be the Nigerian president the way Nigeria is structured. I'm not speaking to a change of personnel. I am speaking to a new country, one that is built on new ideas.
Right now, as you watch this, your brain is being hijacked.
Now your brain go dey hijacked. Yeah, now your brain go dey hijacked.
I have done my best to define this multiple times, but I have found myself serially misunderstood by friends and foes alike. So I will take one more shot at explaining my intendeds. A revolution means a turnaround. That's the simplest explanation I can give for that. And it is true to the origin of the word itself. The word revolution comes from the French word revolver. Revolver means to turn around. So when I speak to the revolutionary pathway, I'm saying a different path that is different from the way this is going. 36 states, 774 local governments, uncountable number of local council development authority that develops nothing, 36 houses of assembly, 36 governors, an almighty monster inside the rock at Aso, traditional rulers who traditionally rules nothing but impunity and waste. That can continue. A country that is forever beholden to the west, to the east, but not to those whom it euphemistically refers to as citizens, that can continue. There has to be a different way to construct a nation, or at least a state, that is ruled by law and that is equitable in its intentions towards those it names as its nationals. That is the Nigerian revolution. So I'm not talking about partisan politics. I'm not speaking to the reign of one man. I'm not talking to a change of personnel in office, a different president of Nigeria, or different 36 governors. No, that does not interest me. I am speaking to a country that needs to be battered, and I'm speaking to a pathway for that to get done. Yorubas will say that ohun tí ojú ajá rí tó ń gbó òun ni àgùntàn ló ń wò bọ̀bọ̀. The same thing that causes the dog to bark elicits nary a response from the lamb. We all look at the Nigerian situation, and I bow to the intellectual capacities of all those who have come before me. I concede that I hold no monopoly as to wisdom either. So I'm not suggesting that in any way, shape, or form I know better than everybody else. But I do believe that if we stood back and dispassionately look at where we're coming from, the origins of what is called Nigeria, it might be a little easier to show us why we must do things different from the way we're doing it. Nigeria was never conceived for the good of those that are called Nigerians. I know that you've all heard at one time or the other of the Berlin Conference. We just speak to it lightly. And all of us just gloss over it, those of us who read history, even at advanced level. I know a lot of history students graduated, even with first class, but very few understand the exact intent and effect of the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference carved up Africa. It carved it up in a fashion where each one had its sphere of influence. I will not bore you too much with the details, but suffice to say that between 1884 and 85, the table was set. We were the ones on the menu. It is euphemistically referred to as the scramble for Africa. We are the ones who are on the menu. Africa was carved up, and a space was created and called Nigeria. It was a possession of the British Crown, and the British were free to do with it as they pleased, just like Leopold did with the Congo. Atrocities was that anything the Jews suffered. They suffered in the Congo. Nobody went to war over us. The point is this: we were given to the British as possession. The intendment was never for the benefit of the Nigerians. By the time the British were leaving, I'm not on Britain, so that I do not spend too much time, but it is important to have this understanding. By the time they were leaving, there was a tripod upon which Nigeria was purportedly built. One of these tripods had their illusions. Azikiwe had his illusion of the manifest destiny of Ndigo to rule Nigeria and the black race. Every society is governed by hegemonies. It was just that the British ensured that they magnified those words to ensure that we could never speak as one, especially in the South. Awolowo came up with his utopian republic that would be built with the Yorubas. And he was fine with accepting federalism as long as he was allowed his ethnic republic, which would be a beacon. Nothing wrong with that. That's how every nation is bettered. But that was not compatible with British interests. Ahmadu Bello had his jihadist plans and ambitions, and he wasn't shy about declaring it. This country was an estate bequeathed on him by his fathers, and the Quran must be dipped in the Atlantic. So let's be clear. Each one of them had their delusions with which they wanted to build Nigeria, but the overriding system was the one that was designed to favor the owners of Nigeria. The true owner of Nigeria was the British, and whoever they cared to grant some powers to. The delusion that was built at independence or sufficiently alarming to those who had already sat and determined that our resources must never be for our benefit. It must be for the benefit of powers outside of our country.
Okay. Can I tell you something real quick?
The Nigeria of 1966, in spite of all of its contradictions, was a better country than the country that we have today. And this has been superintended under the watch of the true owners of Nigeria. So this Nigeria is not working for the Nigerians. When the illusions were shattered and the coups came, the war followed, and the jihadist hegemony that outlived Awolowo's ethnic utopia, Azikiwe and the manifest destiny that had been ruthlessly crushed in the Civil War. A new country, the Frankenstein, emerged. The Frankenstein that emerged was developed under the tutelage of those who later refer to themselves as wasted generation. But the reality is that they were not wasted. They were the wastrels. They built a state at the expense of the citizens. They went to schools practically free of charge. They were paid to go to school. They were paid. They will tell you stories of the kind of universities they attended in Nigeria. Nigerian universities were good enough for foreign students. Our hospitals were good enough for foreign dignitaries. Our streets and roads were safe enough for night travels. We didn't have refugees. That generation seized power when they were in their late 20s. That generation took Nigeria to war. That generation destroyed Nigeria. That generation built everything we lament today. They squandered money, squandered goodwill, destroyed lives, squandered the environment. But they are the ones who speak about being wasted. They're the ones who have built Nigeria, and they are the ones who are largely still running it. Men in their 70s and 80s, sometimes 90s. They're still the ones running it and ruining it. But there is a generation. Yeah. There is a Moses generation. And that Moses generation has a duty to take this country out of this wilderness into which we have been plunged for a long season now. That Moses generation was battered largely by the wasteful generation, the wastrels. And we witnessed some measure of the country that functioned. That's why I could speak to a functional educational system. I could speak to a functional healthcare delivery system, a functional security environment, a functional state. But as you plant, so shall you reap. Nigeria was planting storms. Today we're reaping the whirlwinds. But I speak to the Moses generation because the Moses generation were the ones, such as Abdul Mahmud that I spoke of earlier on, who fought the wasters to get what we thought was democracy. So we knew better, and we still know better. But a lot of us have been hounded into inactions. Pursuit of life has silenced us. But this morning, that generation has to wake up. And why it is critical that this generation wakes up is because Yoruba say, even if you do not hear, even if you don't live the history, if it's not your lived experience, surely there must be persons who are able to tell you the stories of the times. I have lived through these seasons. I was born by the wastrels. I am a member of the Moses generation. And I have read the history. And I know that the way we are is not normal. But I also know that the way we are is the way we've been designed to be. I know this country to be the same country that went to ECOMOG, that imposed peace in Sierra Leone, imposed peace in Liberia. This same Nigeria repelled Chadian army. What has happened to this Nigeria that it cannot even secure its own country? It is because it is doing exactly as it is designed. In recent times, for those who have the capacity to think, you may be able to connect the dots. The Canadian Prime Minister gave a speech at Davos. And in that speech, it was very clear. If you are not at the table, you're certainly on the menu. In 1884 to 1885, I believe it was from November 1884 to February 1885, when the Berlin Conference took place. It was a 3-month affair that ended up with the Berlin Act, declaring what I just told you, 14 countries who determine the fate of Africa and Africans who are not at the table. The new world order is being shaped again. We are not at the table. We are on the menu. And just as they found slave traders amongst us, the system has assured that we are being ruled again by slave traders. We are again on the menu.
Scribe makes step-by-step guides for any process with AI. You know what's terrifying at work? When you start a new job.
America has boots on the ground in our country. We celebrate it because we've been conditioned to do so by the overarching insecurity in our country, the complete failure of the same state that could project power into the Republic of Benin, the same state that had the capacity to bomb Benin that couldn't bomb a building or buildings in Nigeria, the same state where no Ribadu is talking about how you don't kill those with whom you can make peace, in spite of the fact that these persons are busy murdering Nigerians on a daily basis. This is how this state is already designed to function. And let me tell you something else. I once believed in the delusion that Nigeria could possibly change through the electoral process. It can't. The system has already assured that. You already have a one-party state emerging. And in the midst of all of this, I am still saying to you that there is a peaceful pathway to the Nigerian revolution. We may see the same things and have different summation of the facts and come to different conclusions. I'm not unmindful of the bloodthirsty nature of the Nigerian state and the politicians. I'm not wearing any rose-tinted glasses about our realities. When I speak to a peaceful pathway to the Nigerian revolution, I speak only to the fact that I have elected not to bear arms. And I will preach the same to all those who believe as well that we should have a revolution because it is required. But I do believe that there is a peaceful pathway. Peaceful because we will not bring any violence. But to imagine that because the system will bring violence, we should fold our hands, it will be stupid. But we must also not forget that the system will bring the violence. So what do you do to bring about a peaceful revolution when the other side is determined to brutally put you down? This is the genius of working together. You speak to the Iranian Revolution, whether you are talking about the one that ousted the Shah or the ones you've seen on your TV screens in recent times, or you speak to the one in Thailand, no, not Thailand, one of these, yes, Sri Lanka, or whatever revolution you're going to speak to, there's something you'll find that is very common. The people act together. There's always a critical mass. There's an agreed agenda behind which the people have been united. In the absence of that, all you find is violence. So, where is the peaceful path? The peaceful path to the Nigerian revolution exists only in political consensus. I will be proposing, 1, Nigeria be restructured into 6 regions in the first instance proposal. These 6 regions should be fairly autonomous, but it should be a federal arrangement. The broad outline for this plan is already in the public space and has been for at least the last 7-8 years. It is the one that is annexed to both Do Not Die in Their War and the imperative of the Nigerian Revolution. It sets out a new vision for building Nigeria. We're currently revising this to include and clarify certain issues. The first of them is that this constitution should have a secession clause that allows regions that are unhappy with the state of Nigeria to be able to leave Nigeria, but only after 10 years of the experiment. There is also going to be an inclusion clause that allows countries that are not within the borders of the current Nigeria to ask to join Nigeria via an agreed process. The beauty of these life programs is that it allows for some extent of interaction. And a certain gentleman popped up on the screen and took the word right out of my mouth. Who is going to do the restructuring? And this is the part where it becomes very interesting. It is me and you that would have to do the restructuring, and that is the revolution. The true revolution is the people finding common purpose. I can give you a plan, but there is a political content to that plan. The Nigerian state has to pretend that it is a democracy. It has to pretend that it is a democracy. The challenge for me and you is to build a collective around the ideas that would, one, remember that the constitutional amendment part is already in the public space, and you can feel free to download that. That is the proposed constitution, which would amend slightly, but at least you can begin to what is already in the public space. Engage with it. Let's see what your thoughts are on that. We are all agreed that we can't continue to have 36 governors. We can't continue the way we are. And that draft constitution has a whole lot of proposals that you can take a look at. Let's have your responses. But I'm sure within the next week or two, we would have an updated version, slightly tweaked to address a couple of issues that I've placed before you already. There is an indigent shape clause that I believe we need to take a look at in the face of the invasion of Nigeria by multiple people who are not of Nigerian indigenship. So let me just say that engage with that for starters. But more importantly, there is a political content. We will organize ourselves, and I've interviewed you about this last week. We will organize ourselves into political groups, cells from local governments to ward level to state level around ideas. If we're sufficiently organized around ideas, I see no reason why we do not have the number to challenge the system. If we continue to mount the rhetoric that there are more of us than them, then we need to find ourselves and then organize ourselves behind ideas, not behind grievances. Because even the ones that are not supporting us today, they have no reason not to support us because they are they are part of us. The people you call the Ronu bandits, they are suffering as much as you who call yourself obedient. The people you call zombedient are suffering as much as you who call yourself orange revolutionary. Everybody, every Nigerian is victimized by reason of our nationality. I urge us, it cannot be beyond our capacity to organize ourselves around ideas. If we are sufficiently organized, then it becomes easier to wrest the kind of concessions that we seek and to forge the new direction that we must. If we don't, we continue to remain on the table. No, sorry, yeah, on the table, because we are on the menu. See, peanuts. You see? That's what we are. Just side snacks on the table, because we are on the menu. At what point are we going to realize that we cannot continue to cycle this same mountain, thinking that endless cycles of elections that are designed to work exactly the way they are working will change anything?
Do you want to know where to invest $1,000 right now? Goldman Sachs says that Elon Musk.
It is critical that we understand that it is for us to find the consensus if our country is ever going to change. What we have cannot be salvaged. It is not designed to work for the Nigerian. It is designed to serve the owners of Nigeria, their local agents, not me and you. If we're ever going to come out of this, it will be because we found the capacity to unite as one. Understand very clearly that those who have borne harms against the Nigerian state have done so because they had legitimate grievances against the Nigerian state. But the Nigerian state like do exactly that. The ones bearing arms, killing citizens, are not the enemies of the Nigerian state. The Nigerian state goes out of its way to harm them, mollycoddle them, doesn't see them as enemies. But those who are demanding equality of citizenship in Nigeria, those who are asking for a better country, those are the ones routinely clamped in prison. Those who do not satisfy the carnal desires of ministers, governors, they are easy to lock up in prison. But those who speak truth to the Nigerian state, the Mahmud, is in prison tonight because the Nigerian state has no tolerance for his like. Some other persons were asked to go home. I have no problem with that. Bring their passports on Monday so that those ones can perfect bail. But Abdul Mahmud, who was already enjoying bail, he served recognitions, who had no conditions attached to his bail, had to be sent to prison. I went to prison in handcuffs. In prison in handcuffs. They took me to court in handcuffs. I have bail. I had only his wristwatch. That is the system and the way it is designed to work. To be demanding anything of it is a waste of time. All I have to say to you is this. I'm not interested in bellyaching. I'm interested in galvanizing you. But galvanizing you means that you understand the need to act as one. It means that those of you who are students, you need to start working outside the structures of your student unions, which have already been compromised by the state. I was student union president in Nassau, and I know the kind of student union we had. I was in NANS, some D. I know the kind of NANS we had. I know the number of students who bled to have what you call democracy today. We fought the military. We don't have those kind of structures any longer. I'm not going to go to the university to build that. You, who is a student watching me, some of you are even cultists. You brand yourself this or that, carry hands, you kill yourselves. This is the time to understand that there is a higher purpose. Organize yourselves. Build consciousness around clear programs and understanding. I can do that for you. I'm no Messiah. If you're waiting for the to me to come to your campus to do that for you, you are a stupid person. Organize your fellow students. Build platforms for consciousness. Call us online. I'm always happy to speak to any collective who has stood behind ideas. We will try our best to provide support structures, and I've alluded to that since last week. If you're a teacher and you see the way your National Union of Teachers is focused on issues, organize yourselves. Transport union workers, market women. The elephant won't come to your market to do that for you. It's you who has to do that for you. There are no Voltrons coming. No Voltron is coming anywhere. You are the ones who would have to save yourselves.
Bam.
There are no Voltrons. If you know and you elect to be silent, you're not different from the ignorant. You have a duty. Do your duty. Not all of us will come into the public and be speaking Dogonturenchi like I would, but you have a duty. That duty is owed to your children, is owed to yourself, is owed to posterity. Are you going to leave the country the way it is? You'll sleep someday. You have a country where your tax is administered from France. Everybody else is running away from France. Our own winners are embracing France. Security or insecurity today is provided by the Americans. Terrorists are running rampant all over the place. Justice has all but evaporated. They've ensured the elections are rigged ahead of time. They've front-loaded the rigging already. You can't change this system working within this system. The only way you can use this system to defeat this system is when you organize yourself politically around clear demand for change. I and a lot of others are happy to offer the leadership. It's not a faceless thing. We're not hiding ourselves and we're not looking for violence. But we will place programs in the public space. And I've started by telling you, go and download what is already available, the proposed constitution. Let that provoke the debate. I'm sure that very soon, definitely in the month of March, we'll give you the political content. But the reality is that this system is happy with reactions. But I don't believe that reactions will change anything in Nigeria. We need to organize ourselves around ideas. There has to be a different way forward because you cannot repair falling walls. You have to rebuild them. In the absence of that, implosion awaits. The only thing I know as a fact is this. You cannot sustain injustice. The human spirit reflexively rejects injustice. And this system will certainly collapse. What we are offering is a plan for the day after. And what we are also guaranteeing is that we will never seek violence or contest the political space with ideas. Nigeria as it stands today is a very bad idea. It has not worked for the Nigerian people. It has not worked for the Nigerian people. The idea is to present you with a plan that works. At least we believe it would. If you have ideas that would enrich it, critique it, we're happy to take it on board. But the idea is that all of us need to work together on this. There are no Voltrons. And the revolutionary awaits your hero. No Voltrons. We would all have to do this together. Please remember Abdul Mahmud in your prayers, if you pray, but let your voice be loud in demanding his freedom. There are too many people in our president who have no business being there. This conversation will continue. It has only started. The revolution will not happen from my bedroom or my study, but an idea can proceed from my study. Nigeria does not work for the Nigerian, and we must find a way that works as peacefully as we can. We have no control over the response of the system, but we can work in the knowledge of how the system is programmed to respond, and thereby limit the possibilities of violence and casualties. I will see you next week, but like I have said, this conversation continues. It's only just started. God bless you. Have a blessed month.
Wow, that's interesting, no? So look out for this space now. That's what it means. That's what it means. Well said. Well said. I'll pay attention. I'll try as much as possible to check in on next week Sunday. So guys, I will end it here. I don't do pass as I say I go stay online today. But guys, everybody get work to do. whichever one you want to fall under. If you want, if it is a revolution, follow Deliver Rotimi. Anyone wey get us there, now that one important to me pass. If it's election, electoral acts, everywhere, all roads leading to setting everybody free. That's where I'm pitching my tent. So that's where I'm pitching my tent. So nobody get all the answers. Everybody has a role to play. Don't be asking people. Don't be going about asking people, oh, we should do this. Do your own. Do your own. Do the one wey you dey do. Show your own workings. Nobody get the answers, so you show your workings. Make everybody play their own part, do their own part. Na so e reach. So anyway, with that, my people, I say thank you very much for joining me. Natu, Tracy, Onya, Mr. Obiboeze, Prince, everyone that called in, Prince and Obiboeze called in, everybody that was able to join, Kene, all of you, have a wonderful rest of the evening, morning to you, afternoon, wherever you are. I shall see you guys on my next one. Oh, yes, the votes, the poll, 80, how many percent? 82%. Okay, we are getting there. Very much, guys, for joining me. Have a wonderful day or evening or afternoon, wherever your time is. Bye.